FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We the North are now we the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
3-2. Here it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
And this one is over. Kansas City has won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome in, everybody, to a new week of Sports 56 Middays, live from the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn with you. A little thing we call Sports 56 Middays, the Monday, March 2nd, 2020 edition. So we're officially into March Madness. It was a terrific weekend for the local sports teams for the most part, and a big week coming up for both the Tigers men's basketball team and your Memphis Grizzlies. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Streamline your e-commerce business so you can focus on growing sales and strengthening customer relationships. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. Also, the first hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo in East Memphis. Online at gaddisjewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648. Your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. On the program today, the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend in sports. Plenty of time to take your phone calls. First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. Hit us up on Twitter at Eli560, at Greg_Gaston. And, of course, you can watch us live and message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube. Lots going on, lots locally, lots nationally. Let's talk about it over the course of the next 3 hours. How was your weekend, man?
It was good, I guess. Very, very busy.
Yeah.
With 3 basketball games in a little over 24 hours. But I survived, and it was a good lazy day yesterday to cap it off.
I was telling Peter Emiston as we slapped hands and exchanged shows here, you got to always do that. You got to hand the baton off. But I said Saturday night, I didn't get a chance to go to the Grizzlies-Lakers game. I would have been there, but I was working. I had MMA work. V3 Fights had a show at Minglewood Hall, and I wasn't able to keep up with what was going on with the Grizzlies and the Tigers. But eventually I had a break, and I looked at the score, and I saw the Grizzlies were clobbering the Lakers. And so the first thought was this. They had lost 5 in a row, which included the game on Friday night against the Sacramento Kings, a competitive game, which you would hope it would be, even minus Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brandon Clark, and really a chance down the stretch to maybe make a play, force overtime. It didn't happen. So they limp into Saturday night, back-to-back games. They're short-handed. They've lost 5 in a row, and here come the Lakers. So I see that score, Eli, and the first thing I thought was LeBron ended up not playing. Anthony Davis ended up not playing, and the Grizzlies took advantage of their stars not playing in that game. Lo and behold, open up the box score and see that not only did Anthony Davis play, which he did not last night in New Orleans, but the King played as well. And they played well, and they played big minutes, and the Grizzlies won. Somehow, some way, this team that has bucked the odds all year long found a way to win the game over the Lakers to end the 5-game losing streak. And we'll talk about the huge week they have coming up. And there's still 22 games to go. There's still a long way to go, but they have a 3-game lead for that 8th and final playoff spot. And I have to just give a shout-out to that Grizzlies team to do what they did Saturday night.
Yeah, certainly. That at the beginning of the weekend, if you say, "Hey, you're going to go 1-1," okay, that's acceptable. I mean, because we're not going to beat the Lakers in all likelihood, so get a win over Sacramento, call it a 1-1 weekend, and be done with it. But that was an incredible performance by Ja Morant on Saturday. It's what Jonas Valanciunas over the weekend with 45 rebounds in 2 games is pretty ridiculous in its own right. But yeah, it was. We had Ja on the road trip saying this blank is getting old, and he came out Saturday night to make sure he put an end to it single-handedly. And
he did something about it, right?
It's pretty impressive to think that a 20-year-old can come out and basically kind of single-handedly just will the team to victory. They talked about the fact they had a team meeting after the loss Friday night to kind of get everybody, kind of squared away. Not a big contentious thing, but just everybody kind of get together and all that stuff. And then to come out Saturday with that performance and to beat the Lakers the way they did. Because as the game went along at the end, they were leading at the end of the first quarter. I'm like, okay, it's all right. Then they're up at halftime by double digits. And I'm like, all right, well now, LeBron wasn't shooting the ball very well, but you're like, okay, I'm sure LeBron and Anthony Davis will pretty much take this game over in the second half. And they just never could. Every time we checked the score, it was like, oh, wow, the Grizzlies have extended the lead even more. And I was like, okay, now we're getting to the point like the Lakers don't have time to come back. Like this is going to be very difficult. And at some point, they may just call the dogs off because they got to play again tomorrow night. So that was that's just a really, really, really good win in a situation where they really had to have it in front of a huge crowd of Lakers fans, a lot of them. That was impressive.
Look, here's what it shows everyone, that they really do want to make the postseason. They care about making the postseason, despite it not being the end-all, be-all for this franchise where it is right now in a rebuilding stage. Yes, as we've said before, after being in that 8th playoff spot and final playoff spot in the West for quite some time now, you don't want to relinquish it. You don't want to give it up. But the future is what it's all about. And the moves that have been made, everything is positive. Everything's moving toward the future. The front office goes out and they make a move, trading away some veteran players to get a guy they think will be a huge piece for the future in Justice Winslow. So that's understandable. And you have a team that is struggling because not only do they lose a couple of veterans, but more importantly, they lose a star like Jaren Jackson Jr. and another unbelievable rookie in Brandon Clark. So you're up against the wall, and you struggle right out of the gate after the All-Star break. Then, as you say, they have a team meeting. Ja comes out and says what he said, and then personally takes it upon himself to step up like he did with 27 points, 14 assists, and 6 rebounds. Then you throw in, as you said, Jonas Valanciunas, who went for 22 points and 20 rebounds on Saturday, had 25 boards on Friday in the loss. And even though it's a high volume of shots, it is very nice to see Dillon Brooks back to scoring points. 32 in the loss on Friday, 24 on Friday, 32 in the win on Saturday. So 56 points in 2 games. You'll take that from Dillon Brooks, even with the high volume of shots. Jaren Jackson Jr., I believe, will be reevaluated at the end of the week. Peter was telling me that he really looks good. He's out there before the game shooting around, so hopefully they'll have him back sooner than later. Now, you also have the inspiration. It didn't work Friday night, but it certainly worked Saturday. The inspiration of having Zach Randolph return, teaming with Tony Allen, who's already here and now working with the Hustle. So you have 2 of the core 4 at the game, fired up for this young team. It was just a a great moment. Again, a lot of Lakers fans, understandable, and some Grizzlies fans selling their tickets to these Laker fans, but I'm not going to knock them. You buy season tickets or you buy a big package of tickets, you make back some of your money if you sell them maybe one game or two. That's smart business moves right there. I can't fault those fans. But other than that, just what an outstanding game. And nobody saw that one coming.
The thing that was amazing about Ja in that game, too, beyond just the number, is he goes 4 of 6 from three-point range,
right?
Which it's tied for his second most attempts in a game. It is the most he made in a game this year. And if you go up coming into that game, he had been 2 of his last 18 from three-point range. So him to go 4 of 6 from three-point range is just completely out of nowhere for that game. But it was again like, all right, we don't have Jaren. Dylan's been struggling. So somebody's got to step up and make some threes. By golly, I'll be the guy. Like, if nobody else can do it, I'll just do it myself. And he goes out and he makes 4 out of 6 3-pointers. Like, it's just, then of course he has I guess his second most famous miss dunk and maybe his second most famous dunk attempt. Both of them are misses now.
Trying to go over Anthony Davis.
Like that stuff. He just has no regard. Like you don't try and do that on Anthony Davis, but Ja does. Ja does not care. He will try and dunk on anybody at any time. And if he would have done that one, that would have just been ridiculous.
Yeah, and go ahead, Gabe.
I love that he gets Anthony Davis to draw the charge. He knows it's coming, just walks back to the other end. All right, cool.
Look, and then he talks about after the game with Rob Fisher about the inspiration, not just that they've lost 5 in a row, that they have to win. They're in desperate need of a win. He certainly wants to be a stud with LeBron James across from him. But he talks about this guy who tweeted out something that wasn't bad. It wasn't mean-spirited. It wasn't really derogatory in the sense that you would get, like, peeved about it. It's just what he used as inspiration, this guy named Daniel Greer. And he questioned if he still has the fire right now, maybe he's hit a wall, whatever it is. But Ja talked about that afterwards. So here's a guy that also really, really uses social media, but doesn't use social media to go on political rants and this and that. He really listens and reads and watches what people say about him, whether it's the media or just fans. And so whatever it takes to fire up the guy, that's fine with me. But Daniel Greer gets his 15 minutes of fame. He's a local hotel salesman. But the cool thing, again, is Ja, how he has embraced, because he is, whether you want to say it or not, he's a millennial. And he's embraced social media. And he is a great athlete who is building towards superstardom, yet still interacts with everybody through social media. I love it.
You got to be careful about going into the rabbit hole of looking at what everyone says about you on social media, because how many negative responses per every positive response? You can't respond to everybody. But at the same time, he's not going overboard with it. It's just
no. But Gabe, he didn't respond to the guy and his. Again, it was negative, but it wasn't personal. It wasn't mean-spirited. He didn't respond to him on social media. He went out and performed, and then he talked about having that guy be an inspiration for me. It's different if he's responding on social media and coming back and attacking the guy. He put his money where his mouth is. I think that's a lot different than what we've seen with other athletes who are thin-skinned and go after the people that have attacked them on social media. Then you have the whole LeBron James thing after the game. LeBron James gives a signed jersey with, I believe Anthony Davis also signed LeBron's jersey, and LeBron's jersey goes to Ja Morant as a keepsake. So Ja sends his jersey to LeBron James, and LeBron James afterwards basically says, yeah, I didn't know I was getting Ja's jersey. It wasn't one of those little exchanges at the end of the game. It was, here, I'm the king, here's my jersey, thank you, Ja. I mean, I love watching you, kid. But Ja sends his jersey over thinking, hey, LeBron's going to want my jersey too. I love that conky confidence about him that he's put himself into that category. This wasn't one of those exchanges at the end of the game where they each take off their jersey and exchange it to one another. I love it. Another thing to love about Ja Morant.
Yeah, I mean that's a there's just and the thing is I don't even think for Ja like it even registers with what you're doing when you're sending LeBron James your jersey. LeBron James has played against everybody, like he can have any jersey he wants, like and everything else. Like and if he wants your jersey, he'll just ask for it. But like to just be like, oh, he sent his jersey over. Well, here, take mine to him. I'm sure he wants it back. Like I'm sure there's like a lot of times where people have wanted LeBron's jersey and he may have given it to him. He in no way wanted their jersey back. Like he was like, no, I'm not in any way looking for your jersey. But LeBron was like, oh, that's cool. Like that and so it's just. But in Ja's mind, I don't think that even registers.
Right.
Like clearly he'll want. He sent his jersey over. He wants mine in return.
He wants to even exchange.
And it's just most people would be so scared. Like I'm not going to send it over because what if he laughs when he gets it? Like I don't want this thing. Get this away from me. But you're like, no. Ja's like, no, yeah, take it to him. He'll clearly want this thing. There's no doubt about it. He wants this thing.
Wouldn't it be funny if LeBron's quote was, "Look, I'm happy to get Ja's jersey, but I really had my heart set on the John Conchar jersey. I don't know why I got this Ja jersey." But he also said, Eli, look, the kid is super special. The sky's the limit. They have themselves a star in Memphis.
Oh, I mean, he listened. The dude just lit up his team. I mean, there's no doubt. And LeBron sees it and knows what a special. And I do think there is I know Peter was talking about it. Like, I think LeBron has a real appreciation for the way Ja plays the game because LeBron prides himself on being an extremely smart player. Yes, he's got unbelievable physical attributes that are going to make him great, but LeBron is a student of the game, very basketball IQ type game, wants to always make the right play rather than, that's one of the things that throughout his career people criticize, like him passing at the end of the games, but LeBron prides himself on just making the right basketball play at all times and not just saying like, well, I'm LeBron James, I'm going to go do this. And so I think he really appreciates Ja's basketball IQ, the way he plays the game, everything else about it. And so I think there is certainly an extra level of appreciation for Ja. Talking about the jerseys, it was funny last night after the game with the Pelicans and Lakers, and Zion Williamson gave his jersey to JaVale McGee. JaVale did not give his jersey back. Zion was probably like, okay, dude, I will give you my jersey, but do not try and give me yours. I do not need a JaVale McGee jersey anywhere near me. So you just keep yours, and I will give you mine. That's fine, but do not try and send that thing over to our locker room.
Are they trying to make a big thing of LeBron and his relationship with Ja as opposed to what doesn't seem like a strong relationship, at least at this point, with Zion?
I don't think he's trying to make a big deal about it, but I mean, there is obviously there's a little bit difference there. But again, I think part of that, as Peter talked about, is the fact of the way. Like I think LeBron has more appreciation for a guy like Ja, who the way he plays the game and everything else, versus a guy like Zion, who's great, don't get me wrong, but he does it because he just overpowers everybody. He just has physical abilities that allow him to do things that nobody else can, where Ja, a smaller guy, but knows how to control the game, play the game, make passes, everything else. It's not just a game of brute, raw force, which what like Zion plays.
Well, let's just say LeBron overpowers most of the players he plays against too, but he has the finesse as well to go along with it. I understand what you're saying. Zion, by the way, last night, 35 points, 7 rebounds, 12 of 16 from the field in a 122-114 loss. Again, he was a negative plus minus. He had 6 turnovers. I'm not trying to make this look like a negative. Zion Williamson will be the rookie of the month in February. He'll break that streak of 3 months in a row for Ja Morant. But Anthony Davis did not play in this game. And Anthony Davis would at least be somewhat of a deterrent inside. He would at least alter some shots. And you saw him take that. Look, one thing is taking the charge from Ja Morant. Another would be Zion Williamson. But when you don't have Anthony Davis in, you don't have much of a line of defense against Zion inside.
I know everything else Zion offers is going to overshadow all of the turnovers, but the turnovers, like, it's sort of a recurring theme I've seen when he plays. people just swat the ball out of his hands when he's going up and
No,
take it away from him.
So he's committed a lot of turnovers. He's not getting a lot of rebounds. He's not getting a ton of rebounds. Again, I'm picking and choosing what I want to bring up as a negative for Zion. I don't know why. I like the guy. I think he's going to be great for the NBA. But I just want to hammer home the point that I believe, and I think you guys would concur, that a half a season shouldn't be good enough to win a Rookie of the Year. And I like what Doris Burke said over the weekend about Ja Morant, that Ja Morant has sewn up the Rookie of the Year. And that performance on Saturday night against the Lakers, against LeBron James, Anthony Davis playing in the game, Ja taking over in a must-win, but nobody thought they would win. And here they are, breaking a 5-game losing streak, beating the Lakers, and Ja going for 27, 14, and 6 rebounds. My gosh, just absolutely unbelievable. So I tend to agree with Doris. I hope that's the way they'll see it at the end of the year when they vote. When we return, let's talk about this week for the Grizzlies. The situation they're in, they have a 3-game lead, but there's still 22 games to play. Their next 8 opponents, 6 are under 500. This is the time that they really need to be exceptionally good. We'll talk about it when we return, and hopefully Jaren Jackson Jr. will be returning sooner than later. Do you want to tell you about James Gaddis Jewelers, first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. Been serving Mid-Southerners, Memphians for 23 years. They've been around a long time. 901-767-9648. 901-767-9648 or online at GaddisJewelers.com. This is a month to remember. March is absolutely huge for the folks at James Gaddis Jewelers. 20% off engagement rings. You're looking to get engaged, this is the time to purchase an engagement ring with 20% off. Also, the March birthstone is aquamarine. They got 20% all jewelry with the birthstone for the month of March, aquamarine, and 20% all of their blue topaz jewelry. Again, this is only through the month of March. They have tons of new jewelry that have arrived, including a new line of colorful spring-like Miss Shoe jewelry. Very popular, Miss Shoe jewelry. Now listen to this. They can customize jewelry, any jewelry you have. They can make it to your specifications. And if you like, they can provide a free 3D rendering of what it will look like. They'll do that in 2 days. It's absolutely free. Computer generated. You'll see what that jewelry will look like, and then you go ahead and give them the green light, and they'll make it for you. They will buy your gold and silver. Gold right now is on absolute fire. You can bring in your outdated jewelry for a whole new look. Make a brand new piece of jewelry from your family heirlooms. They have showcase gifts under $250, Ronaldo bracelets from $50 to $350, and also a beautiful estate collection that James has brought. Pearls, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and of course diamonds. Watches of all types, and that includes new and pre-owned Rolexes. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. A month to remember. The month of March is huge over there. Check them out at 4900 Poplar Avenue in the heart of East Memphis, online at GaddisJewelers.com. Talking Grizzlies to open up the show. If you'd like to participate, First Bank phone lines are open at 360-8255. Text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
The best place to go for all things guns and gear is what you hear me talking about all the time. Tactical Guns and Gear has the only one-stop sound suppressor silencer shop in one place on Highway 72 in Collierville. Fingerprints, photo, trust, and notary all in one place. Only place in Tennessee that you can do that. Protecting your kids' ears and your ears and getting less recoil is huge. If you've not been to Tactical Guns and Gear, I promise they have all the latest and best guns and rifles before other shops even have them ordered. And how great is it that you can ask Jim or Jake to add all the gear you want to any gun or rifle, and they'll do the custom package for you. Gun, scope, sight, sling, case, balancer, and ammo, all done. A perfectly balanced rifle is everything, and the right scope is good too. All eyes are different. You may want red or green or night vision. Make sure Jim or Jake knows. For all things guns and gear, head to Tactical Guns and Gear on Highway 72 in Collierville and tell them Eli says hi. Online at tacticalgunsandgear.net.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
And now, a page from the Diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast. But the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 61 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back. All right, so the Grizzlies, 22 games remaining. They're 29-31, have a 3-game lead in the West for the 8th and final playoff spot. They have the Hawks tonight in Atlanta, the Nets Wednesday night in Brooklyn. Of course, Kyrie Irving's out, but they're getting good play from Spencer Dinwiddie and LeVert, and Joe Harris is back. Friday at Dallas, so that's one of the teams with a winning record that they'll be playing here over their next 8. Then the Hawks are home Saturday. Tuesday of next week from tomorrow, they'll host the Magic. Then they'll play the Trailblazers on Thursday in Portland, first of their 2 remaining meetings. Saturday the 14th, they will play in Utah. That's the other team with a winning record. And then the Spurs, always tough, even though they're not a team with a winning record. That will be on Monday the 16th. So the next 8 games, 6 teams with losing records, the Hawks twice, but a number of those games on the road. I think this is the pivotal stretch of the season, because after that, I mean, you have just murderer's row. And what you're hoping is to play like you did Saturday night against the Lakers. You get that type of performance by John Morant, you got a chance. Also, you may play a couple of teams that are set in their position, may rest a few guys. But I think right now, Eli, this is the time, this next, and they got to do it again for the most part without Jaren Jackson Jr. Who knows if he'll be back after the 2 weeks where the reevaluation will take place. But again, Peter said he looked good practicing, working out before the game Saturday night. But he's not expected to be reevaluated, I think, until the end of the week. I think 5-3, 6-2, absolutely. They have to. I'm not saying I'm predicting that, but I think they have to go 5-3 or 6-2.
Well, the Hawks game tonight. Hawks have won 2 in a row. They beat Brooklyn, and they helped the Grizzlies by beating Portland as well. The Hawks in their last 8 games, they lost 2, then won 2, then lost 2, now have won 2. So if they continue that, they're due for a loss tonight, which is good. But I think they'll be due for a win on Saturday. When they're here. So hopefully that streak breaks itself by then. It'd be interesting to watch Ja versus Trae Young. Trae Young, who is
good,
not good on the defensive end.
Well, no, on the offensive end, he's great.
He is. I'll be kind to him and say he's not good on the defensive end. So we'll see what Ja is able to do to him tonight. But that'll be a interesting matchup to watch those two young guys who obviously have burst onto the scene last couple of years to go head to head for the first time.
And of course, the former Grizz, the future Hall of Famer Vince Carter on the Atlanta Hawks. What did you think of the Trevor Ariza comments when he went right after Trae Young? Trae Young what does he do? Like a little
nutmeg.
Nutmeg. And he said, no. I mean, he basically got in his face. Not on me. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing that to me. I like that.
I mean, that's what the veterans should be saying that stuff.
Absolutely.
But he did do it to him.
Right.
He just didn't let him get around him. He fouled the heck out of him.
But didn't he say, like, not again or something like you what
yes,
did he say exactly?
I'll find the quote, but it was something like that.
Yeah. So, but I like that. I like a veteran, and Trey's looking up at him like, "Ooh, man, maybe I picked the wrong guy." That's a guy, Trevor Ariza, that I don't think's a fake tough guy. I think that guy's pretty tough.
The Hawks are not very good, but they, obviously Young has the ability to go for 50 on a given night.
Right.
They could put up some big point totals on you. So, it's not going to be like you just walk in there and beat them easily, but this will be it's a winnable road game, and so you want to take advantage of the winnable road games if you can. But you absolutely have to win one of the two against the Hawks.
They have Capella now. I'm trying to think who defends Jonas, because Jonas is on a roll right now, and I think this is a game where he could dominate in the paint.
Well, they have Collins. They have
Capella, right? They picked him up from Houston?
They did pick up.
What are you laughing about, Gabe?
I have Ariza's quote.
Okay.
I told him, don't do that S again. Not to me, at least. I'm not with the funnies. I don't like the funnies.
Yeah, exactly. At least not to me.
Is Capella I don't know if Capella's playing right now, though.
Okay. But this is one, I think, where maybe Valanciunas, and he's on a roll, can put up some numbers. Then the Nets on Wednesday.
Alex Len.
He's a stiff. Brooklyn is interesting, Eli, because they're battling to stay. Where are they right now? Are they in 8th in the East? Maybe 7th?
They're definitely in the playoffs. I'm not sure if it's 7th or 8th, but they're definitely in the playoffs.
You said the Nets?
They're in 8th.
Yeah, so they're in the same situation as the Grizzlies. They're trying to hang on.
Yeah, they've got a 4-game lead over Washington, so it's very. Now they've got Orlando. Orlando's half a game up on them, so they're kind of right there between the 7th and 8th spot. They're well behind 6th, and they've got a 4-game lead over 9th.
But they basically have one team chase them that's 4 games out. The Grizzlies have 5 teams chasing them for that last playoff spot. But it's still an important game. They haven't clinched anything, but they don't have Kyrie Irving anymore. He's out. So it's Harris and Dinwiddie and LeVert, good athletes on this team, and that will be a challenge. Then you go to Dallas on Friday. I think Dallas is a really good team, especially when Luka Doncic is in there. They become, better than good. They're a very good team with Doncic. I think they're just a good team without Doncic, and certainly a team that could be susceptible. But Doncic is back, and he's playing well. And then the Hawks.
Porzingis just went for 38 yesterday.
Right. But I think Porzingis alone could put up big numbers, and you could still win. If you have both those guys, it's hard, especially on the road. And then, as we talked about, the Hawks return the favor on Saturday. So, look, Portland at Portland. Dame's still not back, right?
He has not been back yet.
And that's hurt. I don't know what, and that has really hurt them.
Where they stand with that.
Yeah, but Memphis will have to go there, and by that time, March 12th, Dame may be back. You got to play Utah. They're a playoff team. And then you got to play the Spurs. It's always tough. I don't care what year it is, who you're playing against, personally, who's on that team for the Spurs. It is always a dogfight in San Antonio. So
there was some talk that Lillard was going to possibly join the Blazers in Orlando for tonight, but now they say he is not going to do that. So they believe he's getting close, but he is not going to be back for tonight's game.
Okay, so you would think unless it's some type of setback, the 12th he'll be there and playing for Portland. So, I mean, I'm asking an awful lot. 6-2, 5-3 is possible. It's reasonable to ask. I mean, they can't, against 6 of their next 8 under 500, you can't be happy with 4-4. You can't, you wouldn't be happy if they just went 500. I don't think it would be the end-all, be-all to knock them out, but I think with New Orleans and their schedule, it's not even close to being as tough as the Grizzlies' schedule. And a couple of these other teams, also their schedules are a little bit lighter than the Grizzlies' schedule. Grizzlies have to do something here in the next 8. And it doesn't appear that Jaren Jackson Jr. will play before maybe next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, if he gets the green light right away after the reevaluation. So that'll keep him out more than likely the next 4 minimum. But you play like you did Saturday. Now, they don't have that Daniel Greer inspiration. Maybe we need some people tweeting out at Ja again. But they need Ja to go off. They need Brooks to do what he's done the last couple of games, score points, and Jonas to be an absolute beast. That combination, even without Jackson and even without Brandon Clark, can win you some games, especially against the likes of the Hawks, the Nets, the Magic, and teams of that ilk.
Well, I mean, the Nets are essentially the same team as the Grizzlies. I mean, the record is identical. So the Grizzlies are a below 500 team. I mean,
right.
They're playing they're below 500 and without 2 of their better players. So,
no question about it. I'm not saying it's a gimme.
I don't expect them to beat Brooklyn.
I'm not saying it's some gimme. I'm just saying if you want to make it, and I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but if you're going to at least have a shot, you have to do some damage over the next 8 to put yourself at least in a position to steal some against those better teams that are still on the schedule. If you limp through at 2-6 over the next 8, you're going to put a fork in them.
The Pelicans had lost J.J. Redick over the weekend, and they say he's on the same plan as the Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Apparently that's the new thing in the NBA. You get hurt, we'll reevaluate in 2 weeks. Just sit around for 2 weeks. We'll get back to you then, let you know. But that back-to-back with the Pelicans for the Grizzlies, it's not back-to-back nights, but back-to-back games where they play the Pelicans coming up later this month. It'll be, whether that's in basically 3 weeks. So will J.J. Redick be back by then? We do not know, but that certainly is going to loom very, very large when that comes around because of the Pelicans schedule. But without J.J. Redick here for at least the next couple of weeks, we'll see how the Pelicans do. Obviously, they still got Zion and Brandon Ingram's playing well and Drew Holiday and all that, but J.J. Redick and the ability to shoot is a big weapon that they'll be missing now.
We mentioned the Lakers win at the Pelicans last night. No Anthony Davis, but they do have some guy named LeBron. 34 points, 13 assists, 12 rebounds, a triple-double to lead the Lakers to the win. In the meantime, the Milwaukee Bucks improved to 52-8. 52-8. They win their 6th straight. Giannis Antetokounmpo, all he had was 41 points, 20 rebounds, and 6 assists in 35 minutes. I know it was one of the topics they debated on ESPN this morning. Can LeBron run him down for MVP? I think this is an absolute runaway train. This is Giannis. The Greek Freak is winning the most valuable player. There are a lot of worthy players, from Harden to Doncic to LeBron and others. This is going the way of the Greek Freak. I don't see how it's not. I mean, the numbers that he is putting up is absolutely incredible. 41, 20, and 6 in 35 minutes, and the Bucks just don't lose.
I think the Greek Freak will win it. I do believe LeBron, it should be closer than people make it out. LeBron's doing incredible stuff.
He is.
I mean, you look at last night, that was clearly all right, we lost Saturday night. We don't have Anthony Davis. I will go win us this game. Right? Just come along, guys. I'll win us this game. And he goes out and does it on the road against a team that needs the win and a pretty good team. And he just, I mean, leading the league in assists, everything else that he's doing. Although he did have the one just complete brain freeze last night. He was inbounding the ball. They handed him the ball, and he started dribbling.
He's done that every once in a while.
He just started dribbling up the court. Like, ref blows the whistle. Like, that's a violation. I don't. It was like I don't know what was possibly going through his mind.
He had the travel earlier this year too.
That's right.
They didn't call.
That's what I'm saying. Every once in a while he has one of these things.
He just hands the ball out of bounds. He takes a dribble, steps forward, and then goes like, "Oh, that's right. I got to pass this." Tries to pass it real quick, and the referee's like, "No, you can't do that."
Well, granted, he is getting old. His AARP card is in the mail coming to LeBron. He's 35 years of age now, so he's going to have those senior moments. But no.
The look on his face right after, you could just tell he was like, what the hell what was I just doing? What did I just do? What am I thinking right now?
I think he's used to just taking it up the floor. So, like, passing it into someone is not normal for him. But, like, you talked about him making the right play. Like, last night, watching them go to double him and him consistently make the perfect pass every single time. It's just ridiculous.
In the fourth quarter, they kept for a while there. They were trying to guard him with Josh Hart, and he just kept going to the post, and they wouldn't bring a double team, and he just scored at will on him. Then it was like, okay, we got to run double team. Yeah, and then it is just precision of like, where is the open guy, and LeBron finds him for a wide open look. He is. It's amazing to watch him play still, and at his age, and just watch him just pick teams apart with what he can do.
And then Zion last night gets the spinning dunk toward the hoop. He comes down right inside half court and nails it. Just like,
LeBron nails it. Right.
Relax.
In the meantime, teams, even though we're beyond the trade deadline, there are teams that are still adding players because they have an opening on their roster. Some have two on their roster. Lakers waived Troy Daniels, the one-time Memphis Grizzly, and they are going to, according to reports, work out both J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters, one of the great Grizzlies of all time. They're going to work out both those guys and probably sign one of them for a little added shooting as they continue with the stretch drive to try to represent the West and win the NBA title.
LeBron allowing J.R. Smith to get a workout?
The fact that he's getting a workout, LeBron had to sign off on that thing, right?
Maybe he's over it. Maybe he's over it.
I don't know. Apparently, they're not going to do anything to ruffle the feathers of that guy. Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. Brandon Holly is the owner of the company. He has a team of professionals that can take care of your lawn. Spring is just around the corner. You can go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net for more information or call them at 901-867-5626. Locally owned and operated. They'll kill the weeds on your lawn, get you a greener, more beautiful lawn, and they control the germination of weeds all year long. They apply the pre-emergence during the winter months and then the post-emergence during the summer months. They were just over the other day at my home working on my small little lawn now as I went from a giant lawn to a smaller lawn. But still, Lawn Solutions takes care of it, and they can take care of your lawn as well, no matter what the size is. They can take care of any disease your lawn has, any insect infestation. It's Lawn Solutions, simply the best. LawnSolutionsInc.net. Call them at 901-867-5626. All right, when we come back, the Tigers win in overtime in a wild game where they committed 24 turnovers, but they survive. We'll talk some college hoops when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. That's AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Tiger Hoops fans have something extra to look forward to this coming March. Not only is it tournament time, but it's the opening of the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum.
After Finch's two-pointer, Ronnie Robinson sank the shot that once again brought the two teams into a tie.
Come to the Pink Palace Museum this March and experience 100-plus years of Tiger men's and women's basketball, from their beginnings as the West Tennessee State Normal School to the present.
The Tigers are very much alive.
Don't miss the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum, opening March 7th.
Hi, I'm Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Five Ash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Five Ash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Put the Case IH legacy of power and efficiency to work in your hay fields and feedlot. Mid-South Ag Equipment has tough Case IH farm-all tractors that can handle a variety of chores fast. With their expert blend of engine and hydraulic power, farm-all tractors can easily tackle loading and material handling chores as well as mowing and baling. Models range from 65 to 90 horsepower, so you're sure to find one that's perfectly powered for the jobs you do. Stop in or call 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag Equipment, your Case IH headquarters.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. And we'll give you this barbershop quartet who'll sing the name of the perfect hire.
Vince Lundy.
Vince Lundy.
Vince Lundy.
Vince Lundy. Okay, there's no quartet. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Hey, sports fans, you already know about the great steaks at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse, a Memphis tradition since 1981. They specialize in hand-cut aged beef right over that hickory charcoal. But did you know the Butcher Shop also has great seafood items, from fresh Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, pan-seared red snapper with sautéed shrimp and Cajun cream sauce, Canadian cold water lobster tails, crab stuffed shrimp, homemade lump crab cakes, and a whole lot more. Oh, and don't forget the Fresh Burger Fridays for only $8.95. Come in, enjoy a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop. If you need a great private party, the Butcher Shop is your place. 6 different private rooms, seating from 12 to 250, all equipped with audio-visual. Rehearsals, business dinners, lunch, and weddings. You call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or you can visit the website at butchershop.com. Just drop in, 107 South Germantown Parkway.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We were talking about the monster games from John Morant, Jonas Valanciunas on Saturday in the Grizzlies win over the Lakers. There was also an absolute monster game by one Precious Achiuwa in New Orleans as the Tigers had to go to overtime, but they did knock off the Tulane Green Wave 74-67 to improve to 20-9, 9-7 in the American Conference. That would have put a fork in them for any possible long shot chance at an at-large in the NCAA tournament if they had lost that game. I mean, they got to win Thursday at home against Wichita State. They got to beat Houston next Sunday, I think, and then there's a possibility that they could somehow sneak in as an at-large. But they had to win at Tulane first. They got it done. Another ugly game, 24 turnovers. But Precious Achiuwa, again, how many games, maybe every game, if he steps on the floor, he's the best player on the floor. 22 points, 22 rebounds, 5 blocks. He now has 16 double-doubles. An absolute destruction, personally, of Tulane, and it took all of that to get the W.
Yeah, the turnover bug that it looked maybe like they had kind of cured a little bit. The last 2 games has certainly reared its ugly head. That's 45 turnovers now in the last 2 games, basically turning it over on 30% of their possessions the last 2 games.
That is awful.
They are now down to 339th in the nation in turnover percentage.
How many D1 schools?
I believe it's 353. So, hey, good news is there's 14 worse than the Tigers. But
and think about this. They have now won 20 games, and the turnovers have been an issue pretty much all season long.
I mean, and once again, we see at the end of the game, they score only 3 points in the last 5 minutes of regulation where you have a lead that gets away from you because just offensively, everything grinds to a halt. And I mean, if you get really the only way Tulane should be a threat to you is if they get hot from 3-point range. Like, that's the best part. Like, they're bad pretty much at everything, but they can knock down some threes. If Tulane goes 4 of 32 from 3-point land against you, you should beat them by 20 every time. Like, they should never be in the game if they're going to go 4 of 32 from 3-point land. You look at these last 2 games now. What
SMU was 2 of 21.
So that's 6 out of 53. And they lost one of those games and went to overtime in the other one.
Right.
And 2 teams that went combined 6 for 53 from 3-point range. But you look, I mean, in this game, because of the turnovers, Tulane shot 78 shots. Memphis shot 56. If you're giving the other team 22 more field goal attempts in the game, it's just, oh gosh.
Again, and that's why we've been talking about the talent question. They have the talent. They can't give away possession after possession after possession. There have been so many games that they have lost down the stretch for either poor execution, and that includes turning the ball over for the poor execution, or missed free throws or something like that. There hasn't been that many games where you just, they're outclassed. This team is just better than them. They're in it every time, yet they also keep teams in it that they easily outclass, including Tulane. KJ Lawson was struggling from the outside like the whole team was.
He
trying to
clearly was pressed. Like
pressing.
He wanted so bad to light them up, and it was just a rough night for old KJ.
You talk about the 3-point percentage. Their field goal percentage was 28% for the whole game.
Well, that's they going into the game we talked about on Friday with Matt Dillon. They are one of the worst 2-point shooting teams in America, and the Tigers defensively are number 2 in the nation against 2-point percentage allowed. So I was like, hell, they're not going to make any 2s. Like, it comes down to whether they make 3s. They go 4 of 32. Like, when I saw the score, I got to the Hustle game, and I saw they were in overtime. I'm like, oh, Tulane must have made a bunch of 3s. Like, they must be. And I look at the box score and went, the hell? How in the world are you in overtime with this team going 4 of 32 from 3-point range?
Let's give a lot of credit to Tyler Harris. He had some big threes. He was in there down the stretch. I know the game against SMU, we talked about the liability defensively, and this time he was able to really contribute with 12 points, 6 rebounds for Tyler Harris. Boogie Ellis had 11 points and 5 rebounds. There was a questionable goaltending call again on Precious. It looked like it was on the way up, but they called goaltending there. Harris had a key 3-pointer, but then some missed free throws down the stretch, or this game doesn't go to overtime. Luckily for the Tigers that they were able to make their free throws in overtime. Precious, I think, was 3 of 4 in overtime to win the game, but they had a chance at the end of regulation. A design play from Cody Toppert, who was on with us last week, on an inbounds pass to Precious, who was right around the rim, and put it up, bounced around on the rim, looked like it was going to fall twice and falls off, and it sent the game to overtime. At that point, you thought, wow, these guys are going to be pretty down from giving up the lead and not being able to put them down in regulation. How are they going to bounce back here in overtime? But they really took the bull by the horns in overtime. They were the more aggressive team, and they got the victory. But yes, you're absolutely right, Eli. When you're holding teams to that poor shooting from 3 in 2 straight games, and you lose one, and the other game you got to go to overtime to win, something's amiss. And what's amiss is the turnovers. Just you have no chance against Wichita State. You have no chance against Houston if you turn the ball over 24 times. You have no chance to win the conference tournament. They beat Houston doing a better job protecting the basketball the first time around. Don't give teams the extra possessions, which they've been doing all season long. But getting back to Precious, just absolutely phenomenal. Last night they actually had the Tigers basketball banquet at the school's university center. A lot of times with basketball, they don't wait until after the whole season's over. They'll have it late in the regular season. and they gave out a bunch of awards, and it seems like everybody walks away with an award nowadays. But Precious Achiuwa was named the team's most valuable player, defensive player of the year, and, of course, he was the rebound leader as well. And that's a guy who has lived up to the expectations.
Oh, yeah, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that he did or has, because who knows where the season would be without him doing those things. I mean, 22, and 5 blocks, that is I don't care who you're playing against, whatever. That is something.
Yeah, I may have to.
That's a hell of a night.
I may have to rephrase that. I think he's exceeded expectations. Now, he's a 5-star, and people expect him to be really good, but they expected him to be the Robin to James Wiseman's Batman.
Well, he has opened his game has opened up because there's no Wiseman next to him. So if you would have not had Wiseman to begin with, I think this. Nobody's expecting 22 and 22, but the expectations would have been a lot higher. I mean, the games he played with Wiseman, he didn't do much.
Yeah, it was early. They're getting used to each other. They're trying to find the chemistry.
8 points and 3 or 4 rebounds in the games that Wiseman played. He didn't do anything.
Right.
So if Wiseman had been here all year, who knows what Precious would have done. But without Wiseman, he has stepped up and filled that role and has been just absolutely incredible.
That's a pretty good point right there, because if you had Wiseman, how would they develop together as a two-headed monster? And would Precious, who probably it would be impossible to put up the numbers he's putting up now. I'm not talking about the 22-22 game. I'm talking about just the overall numbers of a double-double 16 times. He probably doesn't do that as much. It just makes more sense that with a James Wiseman next to him, that those numbers would diminish, right? You would agree with that.
Well, it's again, it's a small sample size, but it's there. There's 3 games of evidence that he didn't do hardly anything.
Yeah, but I also throw that out the window the first 3 games of the year, because you're still trying to find that chemistry together. One of those games was against Oregon. But point well taken. So if Wiseman was here, and let's say Precious's numbers were half of what they were, is he gone? Is he a one and done? Maybe he stays for a second year. But he was thrust right into the limelight to be the guy after Wiseman was suspended and then subsequently departed, and he has lived up to it. That's why when he has a game where he struggles a little bit, I say every time on this show, there is nothing negative that's going to come out of my mouth about that guy. Precious Achiuwa, absolutely sensational. When we come back, hour 2. Love to hear from you. Get the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend that was coming up. We've been talking Grizzlies. We've been talking Tigers. Want to continue that conversation, 360-8255. You can text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. Want to talk a little bit about the heroics of 100 Goodman. Memphis Tiger baseball player. College baseball doesn't get as much exposure as, of course, the game of basketball, game of football. But I got to give this guy a lot of props here, and I'll do that right after the break. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
There's a new commissary in town. In Collierville, Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary. I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles, when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
This is what Flo from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
Hi, did you know that you can get a quote on your motorcycle insurance in under 3 minutes at Progressive.com? And did you know that saying hi makes even bad news sound good? Hi, you have high cholesterol. Hi, you're fine.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle.
Hi, there's no more cake.
Yeah, even our commercials sound better on a bike. And with basic policy starting at $75 a year, Progressive helps keep you on yours. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Your Memphis Tigers football program completed the greatest season in program history with 12 wins, a conference championship, and a berth in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Season tickets for the 2020 season are on sale now and start at just $100 when you buy 4 in the family fun zone, or $150 for end zone seating. Get your season tickets by May 15th and receive a free gift, concessions deals, exclusive access to regular season and postseason tickets, and more. Get your season tickets today at GoTigersGo.com or call 901-678-2331. Memphis Tigers football.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:04 is the time. Hour 2, Sports 56 Middays. It's the Monday, March 2nd, 2020 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure's at 2120 Whitten Road. It's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, all the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. Also, the second hour of the program is brought to you by the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. I want to talk about Hunter Goodman's heroics in just a moment, but a few more things on the Tigers. And again, we invite you to be a part of the show. We've talked Grizzlies and Tigers, 360-8255. First Bank phone lines are open. First Bank text line 67129. You can watch us live, message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube. So over the weekend, Cincinnati lost at Houston, 68-55. Wichita State beat SMU 66-62. I think that game was in Dallas. Yes. And UCF lost at Tulsa. Wait, Tulsa at home, 65-54 Golden Hurricane. So here's what we have going into the last week of the regular season. Houston and Tulsa are tied at 12-4, tied for first. Cincinnati's in third at 11-5. And then Wichita State's in fourth at 10-6. Top 4 get a first-round bye in the conference tournament. Tied for fifth, the Tigers and SMU at 9-7. Of course, SMU has the tiebreak over the Tigers. They beat them twice. But right now, they're on the outside looking in. UConn is 8-8. They are in 7th. You're pretty good with this stuff. Can the Tigers get the 4th spot? What's it going to take? They're going to have to beat Wichita State.
They beat Wichita State. I don't know.
What does SMU have?
I have to look up the tiebreaker on if the Tigers beat Wichita State. I think because they would have split their regular season meetings. I believe the tiebreaker would go to the record against like the top team, so that Tigers win over Houston would come into play there. But I'll have to double check on that, because I don't think Wichita State has not beaten Houston, have they?
I don't believe so.
But obviously, if the Tigers, right now, the Tigers have to do one game better than SMU in this final week. So if the Tigers win 2, they only need SMU to lose 1. If the Tigers lose 1, then they need SMU to lose both of theirs. Now, SMU, it is not an easy thing they've got ahead of them. SMU could. They've got 2 road games or at the 2 Florida schools, at UCF, at South Florida. And so getting SMU away from home, certainly those are games they very well could lose.
That's for sure.
Ken Palm, for instance, has both of them as toss-ups, both of them as 1-point games for SMU the rest of the way.
But I'd rather take my shot at the 2 Florida schools than Wichita State and Houston.
Wichita State, yeah, they lost both times at Houston. So if that tiebreaker is correct, if I'm correct on that tiebreaker, and I'll have to find that and look it up, but if they go to the record against the top teams, now that would require Houston still to win the conference to make sure they end up in first place. But that Houston win could play large for Memphis. If it comes down to them and Wichita State in a tie for that 4th spot.
Okay. Going to get back into college basketball. What happened nationally over the weekend? Again, a weekend of just top 25 teams going down in a blaze of glory. A number of them. We'll discuss that here in a moment. Also, what happened in the SEC.
Couple of texts here on the Tigers. So it says, if Memphis turns the ball over 20 times against Wichita State, they will get blown out. And Houston is waiting on payback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the game at Houston is going to be very difficult. Houston's very good at home. That's going to be a difficult task at Houston.
It's an 11 a.m. game on Sunday morning. You hope that the Cougars, being at home, maybe go out and do a little bit too much hanging out. I know they get together. Do they do it in basketball like they do in football? Football, they get together on Friday night before the game on Saturday, even if they're home, and they stay at the hotel. And
I would assume that most teams do that.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder, because if they're home, you can go out and stay out too late if you're Houston.
Especially when it's an early morning game.
Right,
like
yeah.
Another one here says, Boogie is the only true point guard we have that's halfway consistent. The starters should be Boogie, Quinones, Thomas, Dandridge, and Precious. My God, that's the biggest lineup in history of college basketball. But Penny is giving Harris and Lomax 15 minutes regardless of how they're playing.
Here's the I don't know if it's a misconception, but he said, or she said, whoever just sent us the text about Boogie Ellis, the point guard. The problem is, and this is where I have an issue, is Boogie has been the 2 guard for the most part, has not been the point guard. There have been times now here more recently, where he has the ball, but he doesn't have the ball in his hand as much as I would like. I agree with that texter. I agree with it. But Boogie has still been mainly the 2. Damian Ball or Alex Lomax has been the 1.
Well, the thing is with both, that's the thing when we're start talking about the whole idea of Boogie having the ball more. If Damian Ball or Alex Lomax isn't your point guard, what are they? They're not shooters. What's their role? What are they doing out there if you're not putting the ball in their hands? So that becomes the issue there.
Well, let's look at
especially Lomax. I mean, what is Lomax going to do? Damian Ball, at least at the defensive end, can do some things, all that stuff. But yes, in games that Tyler Harris is struggling shooting the basketball, I would say, yeah, he doesn't need to be out there. But Tyler Harris needs to play. Like, Tyler Harris is the one guy who can knock down threes fairly consistently. He has bad games, but for the most part, he's your best shooter. The only points they got in the final 5 minutes the other night of regulation were a Tyler Harris 3. Nobody else scored in the final 5 minutes of regulation of that game as Tulane made their comeback and was able to force the overtime. It's a Tyler Harris 3. Tyler Harris, beyond making threes, you need the threat of him possibly making threes to spread the floor a little bit. If you have a bunch of guys out there who can't shoot, the defense can clog the lane and make it harder on Precious.
Yes and no. Yes and no. And let me explain. Tyler Harris was absolutely fantastic against Tulane. He was a plus 14. He got 6 rebounds to go along with 12 points. He hit 2 of 5 from 3. He hit his free throws. He was instrumental for that team to win the game as basically the 2 guard, right? But the other game, it was either the SMU game or the game prior to that. I think it was the SMU game where he was in there. He wasn't doing anything offensively. He was struggling defensively. They were shooting over him. They were also getting mismatches where he was giving up 6-7 inches to the guy that had the ball going one-on-one against him. It was a real problem to have him on the court. But when Tyler Harris is doing good things offensively, he, as you said, needs to be on the court. Now, if Tyler is shooting the ball well at the 2, I would love to see Boogie at the 1, being the facilitator. Except if Lomax has those games, and he does, where he's really, really good. But recently, for the most part, he's been really bad. Now, he did have 7 assists in this particular game, but he also turned it over 4 times. Hit 3 of 5 shots. So Lomax was better than he has been. But when Lomax is struggling, when Ball is struggling, Ball had 3 turnovers to just 2 assists, then I would rather see Boogie at the 1 in those games where Tyler is hitting shots and Tyler's at the 2. So I understand getting back to that texter's comment. But basically, if you want to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next to a player's name, Boogie Ellis has been the 2 for the most part of this season.
Yeah, again, because he's always out there with either Ball or Lomax.
Right.
And if they're going to be out there, they have to be the point. I mean, there's nothing else they can do. They're not doing anything else for you. They're not going to stand there and knock down shots for you.
But there's so many times where Boogie...
I've said before, I would put Tyler Harris in the starting lineup with Boogie. You put Boogie at the 1 and put Tyler at the 2.
Yeah.
That would be my starting lineup.
Yeah, there's so many times when Boogie is playing the 2, he's out there on the wing, and he's just standing there. There's not much, but he goes hard. He goes hard to the boards. He had 5 rebounds, but I give it up to Tyler Harris with 6 rebounds and being able to hit some critical shots. That 3 was huge late in regulation, and he ended up with 12 points.
Some other texts here in the First Bank text line at 67129. So it says, Tigers have no true point guard. Precious is amazing. I can only imagine Precious and Wiseman down low together this late in the season. I hope Penny gets a true point guard, even if he has to go to junior college. See, now you could say that maybe they're not that good. Alex Lomax is a true point guard.
Yes.
Damian Ball is in a lot of ways a true point guard.
Yes.
You may not like that. They may not be playing as well as you like or whatever, but they're point guards.
They are
Alex Lomax especially. Alex Lomax is without question at point guard.
Yeah, he's pass first, shoot second, but he's gotten himself into trouble, getting himself into the air, having to throw it away, had that terrible behind-the-back pass there. But he's also done some good things. I don't want to make it sound like it's just piling on Alex. It's just the inconsistency of all of them, Lomax and Ball and Boogie and Harris. You have the most consistent person I've seen in a long time in Precious Achiuwa, just mark down double-double every game, and he comes through. And then all these other guys that are so inconsistent. And I guess that goes with being young players, that the consistency is the hardest thing to find.
Vincent on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. What's up, Vincent?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Okay, let me say this. I think next year the point guard situation is going to be a whole lot better. I remember when Andre Turner was a freshman point guard, and his nickname was Andre Turnover.
Yep.
He did a lot of jumping up in the air, passing the ball. If they would just break that one habit, that would cut the turnovers in half.
Yep.
I'd say that 90% of the turnovers they get is somebody jumping up in the air trying to throw the ball. And I don't know if that's a high school habit or whatever, but I think moving forward, you're going to see a much improved point guard play. That pass by Damon Ball to Precious with a 1.1 second, that was one of the perfect passes I've ever seen.
Fantastic.
He's made some great passes this year, but for every great pass, he's made 2 ridiculous ridiculous turnovers. And so hopefully they can reconcile that. But I'm going to say this about the Tigers moving forward. There's not a team in this league that they can't beat. I feel like if Malcolm Dandridge can play quality minutes, we can beat Houston. Basically, Dandridge and Achua together gives Houston problems. And the problem is Dandridge sometimes can't play 2 consecutive games because the knee kind of tightens up a little bit. But Precious, he had a monster game. But, we're going to have to get him to hit free throws because he actually helped us lose the SMU game by missing all those free throws.
Vince, we're at the end of the season. He isn't all of a sudden going to become Rick Barry. It's not happening.
Well, no, I understand that. I'm just saying maybe not go to him as much because what's going to happen is the more free throws he missed, the more when they go to him, they're going to foul him with an opportunity to get a rebound miss from the free throw.
Yeah, but what are your other options? I mean, he is your number one option to go to score, and you're going to have to live with some missed free throws. I mean, give me a couple of other options to go away from Precious.
I think Boogie can get in the lane. I think they can run some plays. You know what? I was impressed with some of the plays they ran late in that game where they were wide open. I mean, that play to Tyler Harris was a picture-perfect play. That play to Precious Achua was a picture-perfect play. And that tells – you know what that tells me? Obviously, there's been some times that they have caught some plays up and the guys have not run the plays properly because they have – when they have executed the offense, the high-low with Dandridge and Achua and vice versa, they've been effective. So if they can get consistency on that'll make a big difference. But I think moving forward, we can beat any team in America. I look for us to beat Wichita State this Thursday night. I'm hoping Dandridge is able to play. A good thing about it, you had 4 days between the games, and that normally helps him to have because we play, Saturday? So you got Sunday, Monday,
play
Tuesday,
Sunday,
Wednesday.
Sunday morning.
Yes.
Thursday and Sunday.
We played Tulane Saturday night.
Yes. I mean this weekend, yeah.
Wichita Thursday night. Houston, I don't know if he's going to have enough recovery time because that's seemingly been the pattern with him, having recovery because his knee kind of acts up a little bit at that second game. It's like he'll have a monster game, and then the next game he'll be kind of so can't even play in the second half. And
all right.
So,
gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent.
See, I get Vincent's points on the whole turnovers, like they're these guys. But get Alex Lomax is a sophomore. So, and he's the one that jumps in the air to pass the ball more than anybody. So, are we going to end the end of next year be going, I mean, Alex Lomax will finally learn this and he'll get better in his senior year. Like, he's not a freshman anymore. So if you're expecting this, everybody brings up Andre Turner. It's always Andre Turner thing. But Alex Lomax is a sophomore. He is not one of the freshmen.
Well, let me say a couple things. Right now, for the rest of the season, you are who you are, right? You're not going to change in the final week of the regular season, but you may develop next year, and that's the hope. The year after, he mentioned Andre Turner. I think Damian Ball, unless they bring somebody else in right now, I think he's the guy with the most upside for the future. He has been so up and down his freshman year. But, yes, maybe it will be one of those deals where you liken it to Andre Turner. I just think he's got good size. He has great court vision. He sees the court so well. He's just got to really cut down on telegraphed passes, and he's got to find a little bit more offense. I think he could be a really good, solid point guard, not a spectacular point guard. I'm not talking Derrick Rose here, but moving forward. But a couple of the other things he said, I know what he means. Precious with the free throws, couple of games, he missed critical free throws, but he is your go-to guy. You got to put up with him missing a few free throws. He made them in overtime, 3 out of 4 in the win over Tulane. That's your option. I mean, Precious is 22 and 22. Yeah, I like Boogie. Like Vincent says he likes Boogie. I like him too. But it doesn't seem like Penny's going to hand the ball off to Boogie to be the facilitator for the good portion of any game. It's just not been happening this year.
Well, let's not forget, Boogie's not a very good free throw shooter either. Nobody on the team really is.
No, he was talking about an option to score. And I'm saying let's go to Precious. He's scoring or he's getting fouled and he's going to the free throw line. He's just got to live with some missed free throws. But and I know he's a big Tigers fan, but my gosh, to say that they can beat anybody in the nation. I know it's been a crazy year, but no. You are who you are. The Tigers turn the ball over. That's who they are. And you turn the ball over against anybody that has a pulse, you're not winning. They're lucky to have survived Tulane, the last place team in the league, because they turned it over 24 times.
Yeah, I mean, they won in overtime against a terrible team who went 4 of 32 from 3-point range. Like the only way you win that game is because Tulane is that bad, and that's actually supposed to be one of their strengths. Let's not get real excited about an overtime win against Tulane.
I right now, and I'm going to be in Houston for the game. I'll be at the game Thursday night at home against Wichita State. I would love to see the Tigers win both those games and all of a sudden be back in the conversation for an at-large, at least in the conversation. I don't see it. I mean, I think even though they beat Houston the first time around, Grimes is expected back. They're playing at home. Wichita State, they lost at Wichita. Could they beat Wichita State at home? Absolutely. And can they beat Houston on the road? I don't think so, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I just don't see this team all of a sudden cutting down those turnovers to 10 or 12, which they did one game several games ago, and you thought maybe they were changing things around. But again, you are who you are. So I don't see 2-0. It would be fantastic, but I see at best a 1-1 week.
Somebody asked via text here, is there any news on DJ Jeffries? No updates as of this time. I don't know where we stand on that. How long has it been now?
It's probably been over 3 weeks, if not 4 weeks.
I don't remember. What game
game was it after? That was the question.
We'll have to look that up we'll look that up during the timeout, but it feels like it's been at least 3 weeks. Because Jaren Jackson Jr. is getting ready to go in his second week since his injury, which was way after DJ Jeffries.
It was right before UConn.
What date was that?
Let's see here. Looking for you. 1 second.
Fantastic radio.
Of course.
What do you got?
Always.
Yeah, I just think it's been.
It would have been the first UConn game, so he got hurt in the UCF game on January 29th. They said 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, so we are at.
So we're over 4 weeks.
Yeah.
We're just over 4 weeks.
So at least
right
3.
now.
So, yeah, we're over 4 weeks. But even if he comes back, let's say he goes the full 6. You're now into. This week would be the 5th week, right? Next week would be the conference tournament. That's the 6th week. All of a sudden, is he going to be ready to play? If you made it to the NCAA tournament or even the NIT, I don't know. I don't know if we'll see DJ again this season. Okay, I mentioned the Hunter Goodman deal. I'm going to talk about him when we return. More of your calls and texts. Talk about what happened over the weekend in college basketball, which was around the nation, which, again, was another crazy weekend of big upsets. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hurt. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Let's up your life with Let's.
Spring is almost here, and this is the perfect time to visit Lads of Memphis for all your golf cart and lawn tractor needs. Visit their open house on Saturday, March 7th, and check out the new Spartan mowers and current promotions. Test drive a new Club Car Onward golf cart and spin the prize wheel for a chance to win up to $500 in Lads credit.
Let's up your life with Let's.
up your life.
It's not too early to start planning for spring at Family Leisure. New pools are starting at $19.99, spas starting at $21.99, and swim spas now only $99.99. 5-piece patio furniture starts at only $799. Pool chemicals, toys, accessories, and more up to 20% off. Mention this ad, you'll get free delivery and 1 month of chemicals with your spa purchase. Start your spring planning now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:26 is the time. We don't talk a ton of college baseball on the show, although we do from time to time have Mike Bianco on, Darren Schoenrock on, Tim Corbin's been on the show a couple of times, and we'll discuss when things warrant it. And certainly today, there are a couple of stories that warrant our attention. Ole Miss swept, 3 games in the Keith LeClaire Classic in East Carolina, at East Carolina. They're now 10-1. They've won 10 straight games. They lost the opening game to Louisville, the preseason number 1, then won that series. And they will host tomorrow, weather permitting, which looks iffy right now, the Tigers of Memphis tomorrow at Swayze Field starting at 6:30. So you got a red-hot Ole Miss team that is 10-1. Memphis Tigers have won 7 straight. They are 8-3. This is a good team. I'm not going to sit here and say this is a great team, this is a top 25 team. But right now, they are getting a combination of everything. Pitching's been solid. They went through a 3-game weekend series with no errors, so their fielding has been terrific. But the hitting is starting to really, really blossom. They're getting some support from guys that are new to the team. They had a guy hit for the cycle yesterday. Taylor Howe hit for the cycle, first time ever under Rock in his 16 years in Memphis. And he was overshadowed, Eli. There's another guy who had 2 home runs in the game, 4 hits. Another guy who had 4 hits. He was overshadowed. Because what Hunter Goodman is doing is almost goes beyond words what he's doing. He is a sophomore catcher out of Arlington High School. He is an All-American. And he is worth the price of admission to go watch the Tigers at FedEx Park on a nice weather day, even if you don't like baseball, to just enjoy what this guy is doing. About to be named the American Conference Player of the Week, which is just, of course, that's a no-brainer, but should be considered and will be considered and hopefully will win some type of National Player of the Week honor. All Hunter Goodman did in a 3-game series against Western Illinois was drive in 24 runs. He hit 4 home runs, including grand slams Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He went 9 for 16, hitting .563, added 2 doubles, 7 runs scored, and as I mentioned, 22 ribbies. Yesterday, he had 11 runs batted in the game, which is a new University of Memphis record. 11 runs batted in a game. Sunday also meant most this season in a single game with his 11 runs batted in. Eli, you know the guy. You know how good he is. I get to see him a lot. It's phenomenal to have a guy like this because Memphis doesn't get players like this too often. You know, the powers in baseball certainly will get stars that down the road you'll see in the bigs and that will become stars. This guy's destined to be a really good Major League Baseball player, and right now we get to watch him in Memphis.
Yeah, I mean those numbers are just silly. That's a hell of a weekend. That's a hell of a month for most people. I mean that's just crazy to think you have that many RBIs in one weekend.
I was saying yesterday on the broadcast that, gosh, there are guys probably don't go their careers in college baseball with 22 runs batted in. But you're right, for even really, really good players, that's a month or 2 months. That's a lot of damage in a 3-game series. And I was really surprised that they pitched to him. He's becoming a guy where you should walk. I mean, I know you don't want to put a runner on base, and he does so much damage, and he's getting a lot of opportunities with the bases loaded or a couple of guys on base, and that's a credit to his teammates who are able to find a way to get on base. Again, this is a great start. This is not a top 25 team. They will be challenged big time tomorrow night when they go to Swayze and play Ole Miss. And again, hopefully Mother Nature will allow this because you got two red-hot teams right now, one on a 10-game winning streak, one on a 7-game winning streak.
Well, I would certainly think that once they get into conference play, they will be pitching around him. I mean, yes, I would think that at this point everybody would get into the mode of we're probably smarter to take our chances with somebody else. Now, granted, if he keeps coming up with the bases loaded, you're kind of stuck. Unless you're going to officially give him the Barry Bonds treatment and say, well, he generally hits a grand slam in this situation, so maybe we should walk him and only let one run come in. So
we were discussing that yesterday. You know, he was pulled out of the game by Rock in the 8th. Or in the 7th. They ended up loading the bases again, and his spot came up to the plate. They brought in James Muse, who's a pitcher. He's a senior, never played in the field, never had an at-bat, and he ended up coming up. I think there was 2 on base, actually, when he came up. And he ended up walking. But the point was that Goodman would have had another crack. At that point, it's already 24 to whatever it was, 23 to 8. Do they walk him? They didn't walk him all series long. So I think you're right. Once you start getting into the competition, the competitiveness that is conference play, they got to think twice about it.
I mean, I don't – obviously, you're still trying to win the game. But for Western Illinois, does it really matter to pitch around him or not pitch around him? But in conference play, when it means a lot more, then I would think that teams are going to be like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. So whoever hits behind him in the lineup will probably become really, really important throughout conference play.
Right.
And, if you keep killing them if you walk him and the next guy keeps killing you, well then what's it matter too? But yeah, I don't know that Western Illinois really. At that point, who cares?
Right.
We're letting for our pitchers, let them, try and get a really good hitter out. I mean, it doesn't mean a whole lot.
And look, I'm not a shill for Memphis Tigers baseball because I'm part of the broadcast team, but I'm telling you, it is worth the cheap ticket, whatever it costs to get in there, to go over and watch this young man. One more year, you'll get a him. You won't get 2 more years after this. You'll get 1 more year of him, and then it's on to professional baseball. Grizzlies in Atlanta. Omari Sankofa tweeting out that John Morant at shoot-around this morning was asked about Rookie of the Year. He said, honestly, I don't care about it. They can give that to who they want. Said his main focus is getting the Grizzlies to the playoffs. And I believe that. Maybe deep down inside, he feels, well, I've had a great year. I should be Rookie of the Year. But I truly believe that the most important thing for that guy is the end result. At Murray State, it was winning the OVC and getting into the NCAA tournament. Here in Memphis with the Grizzlies, getting into the playoffs, whether it's an 8 seed or down the road, maybe a 1 seed, it's getting the team into the postseason.
Yeah, I think most of the guys at that level, individual awards are a fantastic side note of things, but that's why, LeBron doesn't care whether he wins MVP this year, and neither does Giannis.
No.
It's give me a championship.
Another
championship. That's what because they're both playing on a team that has the capability of winning championships. So that's what they're worried about. And if that results in getting an MVP award, great. If not, so be it.
So over the weekend in college basketball, here's the ranked teams that lost. The number 2, the number 6, the number 7, the number 9, the number 10, the number 12, the number 15, the number 16, the number 19, the number 20, the number 22. Now, there were some games where it was 2 seeds playing each other. I understand that. But there were a number of games where there was not. And we saw Baylor go down. We saw Duke go down again. We saw Maryland go down at home by double digits to Michigan State. We saw Creighton get rocked. Penn State lost again. Auburn got beat by Kentucky, and Kentucky clinches the SEC regular season title going into the final week. They have clinched. So Kentucky, a team that's it's impossible to say that a Kentucky team flies under the radar in basketball, but it seems like they are just a tad this year. They're really good and are playing really well. But another one of those crazy weekends where all these teams that are ranked, a lot of them at least lost.
That's this year's college basketball. It's just you may not want a ranking next to your name. You may be better off without it. But man, oh man, I mean, there's just not any team that goes on the road is in trouble. I don't care who you're playing and who you are. Like nobody's like good enough to just be able to go on the road and consistently win games. And then, you've got some of these other, games obviously having to go home. It's funny because last week I asked both Jerry Palm and Aaron Torres about Michigan and Michigan State.
Right.
And both had more confidence in Michigan because of the, what's his name, back from injury. Michigan was 0-2 last week, and then Michigan State gets a big road win at Maryland. So if you look at that this week, you'd have to say you'd have more faith in Michigan State right now.
And I shook my head both times the answers came from Jerry and Torres to your question, because I am never doubting Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Never. I'm still a little suspect about Michigan. It's a rookie head coach in Juwan Howard. They have a lot of talent. But Michigan State, they're always a team that scares me when I fill out my bracket. Now, right now, who do you guys have the most confidence in if you were to pick out and lay some money down on a team to win the national championship? Is it Kansas? Is it somebody else?
Okay, I would. If you were asked me to bet one team, I'm absolutely putting it on Kansas.
Gabe?
As long as now, let me find out about Azubuike's ankle injury. Make sure he's okay. But if he's okay, if he's playing, yes, I have more faith in Kansas than anybody for sure.
Gabe?
I guess Kansas, but
yeah, you still don't feel that great.
I'm not that confident about anything.
How about if I took Kansas out of the equation? Who's the next one? I mean, I'm not sold on Gonzaga. They lost a lot from last year. I know they're really good and they dominate the WCC. I watched San Diego State the one night they lost.
I was ready to be confident in Florida State, then they go and lose to Clemson. So
yeah,
they sort of fell off a little bit for me by that loss.
Baylor loses to TCU too, so it's like
right. Clemson, by the way, has a few upset wins this year, don't
Leonard
they?
Hamilton's due, though. That Florida State team's due to at least make a really, really decent run.
Well, they made the run. What they ended up in last year, Sweet 16, and was the Elite 8 year before, Sweet 16 last year. But they always had yes, they're a really good team. I'd always feel like that they're susceptible to that one bad game in the tournament.
They shoot themselves out of games sometimes because last year they had three guys that are in the NBA now, or at least on it could be a two-way guy or what. But there's a lot of talent, and he gets a lot of talent. It's just kind of quiet talent. But they always seem to have that big loss in the tournament.
It might be Dayton just because they've got a stud player who can just take over games.
I'm not going to say that they're going to be a Final Four team or anything, but Virginia's starting to play really, really, really well.
Okay, I was just going to bring them up. Let me just comment on what Eli said. If it was Dayton, that means you got a Memphian winning a national championship. That's Jalen Crutcher on that team, a veteran player, one of the guards. I think he's a point guard. And he's been playing really well. But you have a star and a stud in Obi Toppin. But I've been watching Virginia, and they lost three guys to the NBA. And offensive efficiency, remember last year, they're always a great defensive team, right? Tony Bennett always has his team ranked way up there in defensive efficiency. Last year in offensive efficiency, they were what? Were they number one? They were the top three or four?
They were the top 3 or 4 all season long.
This year they're not even close. I mean, they dropped like a rock.
They're 220th this year.
Yeah, but they figured it out.
They're worse than Memphis offensively.
But they figured it out. Tony Bennett's a hell of a coach. Now, I don't think they're going to make the Final Four again, but they're a team that scares me a little bit. My Terps just I don't have faith in them to make a deep run. Cal, it's all about their point guard Callen, who has just incredible games, and other games that he struggles with fouls and things of that nature and is not knocking down shots. I don't know, guys, who out there. Maybe this is a Cal year. And there's people cringing right now as they say that. They're not talking up Kentucky like they normally do. Maybe Cal and Kentucky can get it done. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, right?
It's not a possibility. They could also lose in the first round.
They can, man. And that's what scares me. I think, look, I always have trouble putting together my bracket. I think it's going to be really, really tough this year
a lot of just you hope, right? You throw out some upsets rather in your bracket. And you hope that you're getting the right ones, but I would not be surprised whatsoever if you have 2 of the 4 teams that make it to the Final Four are outside the top 3, top 4 seeds.
This was really amazing looking at Virginia. I mean, you talk about a dedication to this is what we're going to do no matter, like they lose a bunch of players, bring in new guys, like there's no adjustment whatsoever. So this year they are 353rd. They're last in tempo in the country. They play slower than anybody.
Right.
Last year they were last in tempo, played slower than anybody. The year before that, 351st. There were 2 teams slower than them in the country. Well, actually, let me see. What if there were even 353 teams that year? What if that may be last that year? Let's see if that were there 353 then. No, they were 350. They were last. So that's 2018, and then 2017 they were 351st last.
Wow.
The last 4 years, there is not a team in the country that plays slower than them any single year. Like they are absolutely dedicated to this is what we do. But you look at the defensive numbers. 2017, second in defensive efficiency. 2018, first in defensive efficiency. 2019, fifth in defensive efficiency. This year, second in defensive efficiency. But the difference is this year, 220th in offensive efficiency. Last year, they were second. The year before that, they were 30th. The year before that, they were 50th. So their defense is always going to be there, and they're going to play extremely slow. But this year, the offense just isn't close to what it's been.
Look, slow and efficient with a great defense wins you a national championship. So it may not be appealing to the eye, but it is consistency. You're right. Tony Bennett has a philosophy, and he doesn't alter it. He gets the players that he needs to run that style of offense as well. Memphis coming in, when Penny took over last year, the goal was to be as fast a team as there is in the country and to be as good a defensive team in the country. Defensively, he's really on the right track. I'm surprised, though, it's the offense that has struggled so much.
The thing, though, and I know there was a thing on Twitter, and one of the guys, might have been Jerome that responded to it, but like, it's amazing to think that Tony Bennett can recruit guys to come to Virginia. Like, when you are there's no secret. Like, you're going to play the slowest pace in America.
Right.
If you come play here.
Right.
Like, that's it. We are dedicated to that. We do not break from that. We play the slowest pace in America. It's amazing he's able to get good players to come there and want to play that style.
Well, it may not be visually appealing, but it may suit those players' style more, that they are not – everybody can't be an antelope that gets up and down the court. Everybody can't be Giannis.
No, but they all want to be.
Well, a lot of them do, but some, but at least some. But you look, first of all, they're going to Virginia, so that's a very good academic school. So maybe these guys understand that they would like to be Giannis, but they know they can't be Giannis. Let's just shoot threes. Let's play really good defense. And Bennett has that type of system at Virginia.
Were Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome both first-round picks last year?
No, they were.
So they
DeAndre
one
Hunter
of them
was.
Yeah.
Hunter
so
was.
At least 2 were first-round picks out of that system. It's just so crazy to even think about.
Right. But you got 3 guys that are in the NBA.
Jerome went 24th. I want to say Guy was second round.
Early second round, maybe, for Kyle Guy. I remember he got selected.
Yeah, he was 55th.
Late
second round. But he's with, I don't know which guys are, like Hunter is. Is Jerome and Guy, are they up with the teams? Are they with the current 15-man roster of their respective NBA teams? Or are
Kyle Guy is a two-way
G League
player.
Yeah, two-way.
I don't know if Jerome, I don't know what he is, if he's playing down or if he's playing up.
But to lose that talent.
But he's been up because when the Phoenix was here, he was here with them. So I think he's probably playing up mostly with Phoenix.
Okay, but to lose that talent and to struggle offensively the way they have struggled, and now all of a sudden starting to really put it together, that says an awful lot about the coach, the system, and the players who are bought into that system.
Texter says, hey, guys, how many teams do y'all think will get in from the SEC? I don't know. Just when you think that a couple of teams have it figured out, I mean, Florida was playing really well, looked good, looked like they were getting close to kind of cementing a spot, and then they lose to Tennessee. And then you've got Arkansas, who with Isaiah Joe back was looking good. And maybe you kind of get some forgiveness for the 5 games they lost without him, and then they lose to Georgia. So Mississippi State did get a win. I don't know. It's hard to figure out because all of those teams, every time you think one of them maybe has it figured out a little bit, they'll take a bad loss.
I want to say 4 get in. I
think 4 absolutely get in. I think they got a chance to get 5, but
they have a chance because of the uncertainty
the
uncertainty around the country. But you know that Kentucky's getting in. You know Auburn's getting in. LSU's getting in. LSU, by the way, defeated Texas A&M over the weekend. And I think Florida, despite the loss to Tennessee, unless they lose twice this week and fall in their first game in the SEC tournament, I think they're still going to sneak in there. And then a 5th team is possible, but like you said, Arkansas, even though it was a road game, they lost by 10 at Georgia. And you have the Mississippi State win on the road. Any road win is a good win. But I'm not so sure that the Mississippi State will get in. So I don't know. I think it's 4. I think they'll end up having 4 when it's all said and done. Second hour of the program brought to you by the Gold Strike Casino Resort, the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue. It's located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. They have betting kiosks throughout the resort. You can watch the games on 60 HD screens while you lounge in plush seating, enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. This is the place to be for the NCAA basketball tournament. It is the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill and the Gold Strike Casino Resort. We'll come back with more Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswanger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswangerglass.com. Benswanger Glass.
Frontier Western Store is proud to announce their T-shirt sale is back. All regularly priced novelty T-shirts are buy one, get a second half price. Tons of new prints by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, and Puppy Love, as well as men's tees by Live Oak and Haybo are included. Frontier's women's boutique is loaded with new styles and colors in current trends of tops, tunics, and dresses. And most are just $14.99, available small to 3X. While you're there, be sure to check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Shop thousands of boots year-round that are in stock, ready to try on and take home. Shop at a local store with excellent service. With their extensive selection of dress and work boots, you are certain to find your next favorite pair. Frontier receives new styles and restocks daily from all the largest boot makers: Dan Post, Durango, Rocky, Ariat, and more. Available in men's, women's, or children's. Outfit the entire family. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag Equipment can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, these tractors can tackle every chore on your to-do list. Call 662-890-3141 or stop in today to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
It's time for the madness.
March.
We can't say it. We have to almost say it.
So you mean like madness in March?
I like that. And during the madness in March, there's nothing better than basketball and Central Barbecue.
So we can say basketball?
Yes.
And Central Barbecue?
Yes.
But not March?
No.
Madness.
See, I see what you did there. So to recap, Central Barbecue.
Yes.
Basketball.
Yes.
But not March.
No.
Madness.
I think we may have successfully managed to commit copyright infringement to sell Central Barbecue.
I couldn't be more proud.
Bust it.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
So just to go further on that question about the SEC teams, if you look at the bracketologists out there, our buddy Jerry Palm, he has 4 in, including Florida. Now, he has Florida and LSU both as 9 seeds right now, so not exactly super safe. He has both Mississippi State and Arkansas in his first 4 out. Lunardi has 4 in, including Florida, as a 9 seed. He has Mississippi State in his first 4 out and South Carolina in his next 4 out. He does not include Arkansas in any way as far as that is concerned. So there's a little differing of opinion there, but yeah, there's still a few teams in conversation, but right now they both agree that you've got the 4 teams in with Mississippi State as the next team with an opportunity.
Well, Frank Martin's South Carolina Gamecocks could have helped themselves, but they lost at Alabama 90-86. And I know it's a road loss, but still, that was an opportunity right there to get a win. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of these teams, if they do some real big damage in the SEC tournament, that could get an at-large and jump on that 4-team bandwagon. Florida, I guess, could play themselves out. And then who knows if there's a surprise that ends up winning the SEC tournament, although I doubt it very, very much. News from the world of baseball. Toronto Blue Jays closer Ken Giles said he knows his World Series ring is tainted after learning of the Astros cheating scandal. Giles, a member of the Astros in 2017, said he would give his ring back if asked, according to the Toronto Star. He is the first member of the team to go that far. All right. It's a nice gesture. It's never going to happen. But I don't care about the pitchers. The pitchers for the Astros, other than knowing that this stuff was going on, if they truly did, it didn't help them. So I'd rather a position player who was involved in that coming out and saying this. Again, baseball is not going to take away the World Series title. They're not going to lose their rings. But it would be a nicer gesture from one of them as opposed to Giles. I don't think this is going to open up the floodgates by any stretch of the imagination. I think probably he's going to be one of those rogue players who says that nobody else will follow suit, and again, nothing will happen in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Thanks, Ken. I don't, you're not going to give it back. They don't want you to give it back, so who cares?
Right. Do you think he said it because he knows he's not going to lose the ring, or does he truly believe it? I mean, I didn't hear him say it. I just read the quote.
If that's what he needs to say for his conscience, then good on him. Whatever. I don't. I don't need to hear any player say they would give it back or anything like that.
Again, I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with the pitchers at all. Now, do I have a problem because he didn't spill the beans?
It helped the team win a World Series. That's it.
Right. But I mean, it didn't help him. It didn't help the pitchers.
Helped him win a World Series.
Yes, but I'm saying what he did on the mound, it didn't prevent other teams from hitting him or hitting any of the other pitchers. And they had an amazing staff that won a lot of games because they were damn good pitchers.
And also got a lot of offensive support.
Right.
That, and if you believe Trevor Bauer, he still believes that they had foreign substances on the ball because the apparently the spin rate for pitchers that went to the Astros was much higher than the rest of the league. Well, so I guess it depends where you feel on that. But
well, if that came out, I mean, if that comes out, then we open up a whole new can of worms. But that information right now is just speculation.
Did you watch the Real Sports thing with Trevor Bauer?
No, I
haven't seen it yet.
He is a weird cat, man. But he is a scientist nerd pitcher, but he also has a lot of strong opinions about stuff. It's just he's a weird dude,
and he's not afraid to give those opinions.
He put everybody in a weird spot because everybody was sort of against Trevor Bauer, and then when the whole Astros scandal came out, it's like, oh well, he was right the whole time.
Hey, by the way, we didn't say anything about this when it happened, but what did you guys think of Madison Bumgarner and his rodeo stuff? Incognito, different name. He made money. I mean, he made like $25,000. He was a professional. He just didn't do this as a hobby.
The problem is they need to have a clause in his contract.
Well, that's the part of it that is the teams like, okay, we don't need you to be out there. The Giants, we don't need you to be out there riding bulls and stuff. That's a bad thing.
Yeah, easy on the Bronco busting. All right, when we come back, third hour of the program, the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend that was. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hey, sports fans, you already know about the great steaks at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse, a Memphis tradition since 1981. They specialize in hand-cut aged beef right over that hickory charcoal. But did you know the Butcher Shop also has great seafood items, from fresh Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, pan-seared red snapper with sautéed shrimp and Cajun cream sauce, Canadian cold water lobster tails, crab stuffed shrimp, homemade lump crab cakes, and a whole lot more. Oh, and don't forget the Fresh Burger Fridays for only $8.95. Come in, enjoy a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop. If you need a great private party, the Butcher Shop is your place. 6 different private rooms, seating from 12 to 250, all equipped with audio-visual. Rehearsals, business dinners, luncheon, weddings. You call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or you can visit the website at butchershop.com. Just drop in, 107 South Germantown Parkway.
Listen up, Rebel fans. You can now listen to Rebel Yell Hotline on 87.7 FM or on the web each and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. If you can't listen to 87.7 FM, Sports 56 has made it possible to listen online each and every week. All you have to do is go to sports56whbq.com and click on the Rebel Yell Hotline banner to listen. That's Rebel Yell Hotline each and every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on 87.7 FM or on the web at sports56whbq.com.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:03 is the time. Final hour for us today here on this Monday edition of Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Visit fedex.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help you take your business to the next level. We are very happy to have East Memphis Ace Hardware on the program as the sponsor of the third hour of the program. It's located at 5143 Quince. It's right next to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes, locally owned and operated by Jarrett and Philip Carter. So we thank the Carter brothers and all the great folks at East Memphis Ace Hardware for being part of our show every day as the third hour sponsor. Time now for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Let's start with some good, which would start with Ja Morant's performance on Saturday night against the Lakers with 27 points, 14 assists, 6 rebounds, 4 for 6 from three-point range, the most threes he has made in a game this season. And he had been 2 for 18 in his for shooting from three-point range coming into that game. 2 for his last 18. So certainly surprising to see that, but a fantastic performance by Ja in a big game, a game that the Grizzlies much needed. And then I give a good to the Lakers for helping the Grizzlies out. After losing to the Grizzlies, going down to New Orleans, beating the Pelicans without Anthony Davis and LeBron James going for a triple-double. So the Lakers were very kind to the Grizzlies both Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, we appreciate the help of the Lakers.
Anything there were so many Lakers fans here. They're like, you know what? We'll be nice. We'll lose to you guys, and we'll go beat New Orleans just for the hell of it.
I worried, though.
Because the Lakers, they realize they want to be here for the playoffs. They're like, we got so many fans in Memphis. That'd be a great place for us to play our first-round playoff series.
I'm going to bet there were a few Lakers fans in the Smoothie Center as well for the game against the Pelicans, but I'm so happy that they were able to win without Anthony Davis.
Got to give a special mention to Jonas Valanciunas as well, with the career-high 25 rebounds on Friday night and then coming back with 20 on Saturday. 45 rebounds in 2 games.
I love Jonas Valanciunas, and it seemed like to start the post-All-Star game portion of the schedule, he wasn't doing much. He was slow to get back to where he was, and there have been games where he's not been an integral part because of the teams they're going up against, but for the most part, he's been a double-double machine.
Also, Giannis, the Greek Freak, with his 41-point, 20-rebound performance. Not sure James Harden was smart to poke the bear, but Giannis certainly can do more than just run around at 7 foot and dunk. The thing is that 41-point, 20-rebound performance, that was in a 93-85 game. This wasn't a 130-120 game. They only scored 93 points in that game. He had 41 of them.
Yeah, nearly half. Not quite, but nearly.
The one thing I've appreciated about Giannis is like the willingness to get better at shooting the ball, whereas we've seen other guys come in the league sort of at that.
Hey, by the way,
Ben Simmons-esque where he just will not get better.
I think he's still so young too. Like he continues to get better and better.
By the way, you want to change your thoughts of Lakers and Clippers? You still got the Bucks behind those two, right? You're not going to change? Remember the question?
I'm sticking by it.
Okay.
Why not?
All right. Just make sure.
Former SMU star Shake Milton with the Philadelphia 76ers yesterday went for 39 points. In his last 2 games, he is 12 of 14 from three-point range. In his last 5 games, 22 out of 30. 22 out of 30 from three-point range over a 5-game stretch.
If you had asked me when he was in school at SMU if this guy's an NBA player, I would have said no.
He's an NBA shooter.
And he's an NBA maker right now.
22 out of 30. That is silly. From college basketball, good for UCLA. Got their 7th straight win. They've won 11 out of 13. Right before conference play started, UCLA lost to Cal State Fullerton, who was 4-10 at the time. UCLA fell to 7-6. But now they're leading the Pac-12. Mick Cronin can coach.
See, we've always said that. When UCLA got Mick Cronin, we said that was a great hire. It takes a little while to get into the swing of things with your new team, your new school. The players got to get adjusted to who you are as a coach, your coaching style. You're right. He can flat out coach. There are guys out there they can just flat out coach. Steve Forbes is one who's a friend of the show from East Tennessee State. He can flat out coach. Mick Cronin is absolutely one that can do the same.
Yoli Childs of BYU, 38 points, 14 rebounds, and their win at Pepperdine as he continues to be absolutely fantastic.
How good are they?
They're good.
They've won 9 straight.
You got a dominant big man and guys who could shoot it. That's a nice recipe. Speaking of dominant big men, Luka Garza of Iowa had 25 points, 17 rebounds Saturday in a win over Penn State. Penn State's got a terrific front line. It doesn't matter. Garza still dominates. He's got 14 straight games of 20 or more points.
I like him a lot.
My brother works in that market, right? And he told me something interesting because I asked him a question. I said, Luka looks a lot skinnier, more in shape this year than he has the rest of his career. Apparently, he had a 9-pound cyst removed from his abdomen before the season this year. Yes.
9 pounds?
That's a baby in there. That is a full baby.
Basically had a child.
But yes, he did have that, and he's been ridiculously good this year.
He basically scores between 20 and 25 like every single game. Because he's over 20 every game, but he averages like 23. It is a perfect. He's either between 20 and 25 every night. He takes the floor.
I've yet to see anyone guard him in the post.
But if they had some more help, Iowa could really make a true run at a title.
From college baseball, certainly the stuff you went over with what Hunter Goodman did this weekend. I can't really wrap my brain around 22 RBIs at a weekend. Like that doesn't seem possible in any level of baseball, but that is incredible.
I hope to find out, and it's a lot of work for the baseball SID at the University of Memphis, John Galatas, but I got to think it's it's a rarity for a player in history to hit a grand slam 3 straight games.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it's a weekend series.
Yeah,
could this be the first time ever? See, baseball's been around so long that I bet everything has been accomplished at least once. But I would like to know how long you got to go back, how far you got to go back for that to equal what this guy did this past weekend.
And then mentioned Ole Miss baseball. They win 3 in a row down in Greenville, North Carolina, beating High Point, East Carolina, and Indiana. Not what Hunter Goodman did, but Tyler Keenan. Not a bad weekend. He had his birthday was on Thursday when they traveled down there. He's from North Carolina, so he was able to be home for his birthday, had a bunch of family at the games, went 7 for 13 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs in 3 games.
Heck of a series.
He says it's the first time he's been home for his birthday in forever, and then to go down there and have that kind of weekend, celebrating your birthday with your family in attendance, not a bad weekend for Tyler Keenan.
Not at all, and the extra incentive of having them there.
Yeah, and so the 2 teams, Memphis has won 7 in a row.
7 in a row.
And Ole Miss has won 10 in a row going into their game, so 17 combined wins in a row going into the game tomorrow night if it gets played.
If it gets played. All right, my goods, a lot of what you said. John Morant, just absolutely sensational. If we had a great category, it would be a great 27, 14, and 6, just lifting that team to a game that I didn't think they could win. And they won over LeBron and Anthony Davis. Jonas Valanciunas, again, 45 rebounds in games combined Friday and Saturday.
So if you had in Precious, he and Precious combined for 67 rebounds in 3 games combined between the 2 of them this weekend.
They need to make a videotape on the art of rebounding.
I mean, goodness
Precious
gracious.
And Jonas and Precious. I do give a good to Dylan Brooks because he is starting to get out of the funk. I know it's high-volume shooting, but 32 points and 24 points over the 2 games. He had 32 on Saturday. The way he was playing out of the chute after the break was horrible. So they really need him. He's an important guy to this team and maybe finding that offense a little bit. I give a good to T.O. and Zebo being in the house. Of course, T.A.'s been here all year, now part of the Memphis Hustle. But to have Zach Randolph return, and who were they comparing him to? Is it Eddie? Who's the Winslow kid from the show? The carrot.
Yeah, I think it's
Eddie Winslow.
Yeah.
And then I saw a photo of Eddie Winslow next to Zebo, the split screen, and he looked like him. He had the haircut.
Zebo looks good. Zebo
looks great.
Young and spry.
He looks fantastic. So to have those guys there was great. Also, I wasn't there, but I heard Cam Newton was at the game on Saturday.
Cam was there.
I'd love to know, why. What's the connection there? Happened to be in Memphis, wanted to see Ja. Did he know somebody? But anyway, Cam Newton was at the game. Other goods. Anthony Edwards, the heralded freshman for Georgia, 26 points, including 9 in the last minute and 7 seconds to help Georgia down Arkansas by 10, 99-89. I give a good to Kentucky. They beat Auburn. They win the SEC regular season men's basketball title. You mentioned Yoli Childs with 38 for number 17 BYU. They were 17 over the weekend. Haven't seen the new poll yet, but they defeated Pepperdine 81-64. They're now 24-7. I give it good to Tennessee for knocking off Florida at home 63-58. They continue to battle. They're not a great team. They're not going to go to the tournament unless they win the SEC tournament, but Tennessee got a nice win over Florida. I give it good to Greg Williams Jr. 7 triples as St. John stunned at number 20 Creighton, 91-71. Didn't see that one coming.
They just absolutely hammered them. It wasn't even that was never really a game.
I looked at that result. I had to do the old double head shake there. Really? That happened? I give a good to Memphis women's basketball player Madison Griggs, who broke 2 records on Saturday for threes. She now has 80 three-pointers, which is the most of any freshman in American Conference women's basketball history, and her 80 is also the most by any freshman in Memphis basketball history, male or female. Team has struggled, yeah, but she's been knocking down the threes at a pretty darn good rate. I give a good to Patrick Taylor and Antonio Gibson, the NFL Combine. I think they both did a very good job, and of course Taylor, according to Tony Pauline, is going to have another surgery, but 4.57 40 and a 4.39 for Antonio Gibson. What was the number Taylor was trying to get under? Was it 4.6?
I want to say when we had him on Super Bowl, I want to say he said he wanted to run a 4.5, but I can't remember exactly for sure.
Let me ask Gabe. Gabe, do you remember? Gabe, do you remember what the number Patrick Taylor was trying to go under for his 40?
I think it was between 4.5 and 4.6 is what he said. He got 4.57.
Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly.
So, I just gave him a good, right. That was solid, right?
That was good. That was very. He had a very solid combine.
Especially,
both the guys from Memphis had very solid combines.
Yeah, and we talked about Gibson at 4.39, but especially when you throw in the fact that Taylor, again, according to Tony Pauline, is going to have another operation. So that says an awful lot for their performance.
That was the thing is, I think his agent put it out there that he was hurt. So
your boy Becton. Is it
Mekhi Becton?
Mekhi Becton.
That is ridiculous.
6'7", 364. A 5.10 40.
That was simply the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And he was only 17% body fat.
Yes,
which is for a guy like that.
I'm blown away that a guy of that size can run that fast of a 40.
How high is he going to go?
I was going to say honestly, if I'm a team and I need a tackle, that's who I'm going to get. I mean, he's big. He's sort of he's going to be a high floor guy now if he's that athletic and that big.
Is he way up there in the mocks?
He's been a top 10 prospect and some top 15, but Tristan Wirfs as well.
Also from the combine, linebacker Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, 4.39 40, which is faster than guys in the past like running backs Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey.
Did y'all realize he was that big? He's like 6'4" and 3'8", tall.
Yeah, he's
rangy guy.
He's going to be. He looks like he's pretty special.
I give a good to Hunter Goodman. We talked about his numbers, just mind-boggling. Taylor Howell, also from the University of Memphis, who hit for the cycle. Ole Miss sweeping the 3 at the Keith LeClaire Classic, beating Indiana and knocking off East Carolina. Big wins for them as they've won 10 straight. The Tigers outscored Western Illinois 55. They scored 55 runs in the 3 games. Scoring 24, then 8, then 23, committing no errors, winning all 3 of the games, and now have won 7 straight.
Were there many unearned runs?
There was not a ton of unearned runs. There were some.
The old Leathernecks team ERA is going to take a long time to recover from this weekend.
Well, they did commit about, I think it was 10 or 11 errors. So there were some unearned runs, but they all didn't lead to these runs. I mean, these home runs were coming in bunches.
Can I throw out a good from the combine as well that I saw this weekend?
Sure.
Tristan Wirfs from Iowa. Did y'all get to that one?
No.
4.85 40-yard dash. He's 6'5", 320, 34-inch arms. 4.85, 24 bench reps, and then the most ridiculous ones. He jumped 37 inches in the air.
Jeez.
And his broad jump tied the record for broad jump for an O-lineman at the combine.
Dude, that is freakish.
What these guys are doing at 320 and 330 pounds is just
370 for one of them.
It just doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be that athletic at that size. I can't comprehend that.
A final good goes to Tony Romo because somehow Tony Romo has a new deal with CBS that is paying him, hold on to your hats, $17 million per season. He is a football analyst. Again, he does football analysis on CBS Sports, on games. He's not even on ESPN where he's on Sports Center and he's on 18 different shows. The guy is really good. I enjoy watching him. I cannot believe $17 million a year for an analyst.
Yeah, I don't know how they – it's hard to see how you can justify that, how you can get that money back. Or do you really believe that Tony Romo, just by him being there, is bringing in that many viewers to make that worth it? And I just can't imagine it is.
And what's he do, a game a week? Basically, that's his job. I mean, that's what he's getting paid $17 for.
Yes, a game a week.
Yeah, there was a lot of NFL players that took exception to that. Did not like that. But at the same time, just let it be. I mean, if he's getting $17 million a year, he's getting $17 million.
Okay, now here's the thing. I think we all agree that's just crazy, right? Now, CBS pays, over $1 billion for the TV rights for the NFL. So they spend a lot of money. They have a lot of money, right? But it's a broadcaster. It's getting $17 million a year. But then they started to try to put that into, somehow it affected some of the players' minds when they're talking about their CBA. Like what Tony Romo can get out of CBS as a broadcaster has nothing to do with you mulling over the CBA.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the players it has nothing to do with them whatsoever. It's not the NFL paying him. It's not it's CBS paying Tony Romo.
Then you see the players come out saying, well, if there's no players, there's no, what's Tony Romo breaking down? It doesn't matter. They paid him $17 million, buddy.
Again, that's not Tony's. Tony doesn't care about that now.
That's not your prerogative. It's what they want to do to keep their talent on board.
It's not like Tony Romo can say, no, CBS, I don't want $17 million. Pay me less. Pay the rest to the other players. Like, no, that's CBS's money.
That money's staying with CBS.
Right. Jim Nantz makes what? No way, man. I'm not going to pass this. That makes no sense whatsoever. By the way, with Ole Miss, the latest baseball polls are out, and they are ranked now number 9, moving up from number 13 and number 15. In the Baseball America and the D1Baseball.com polls, respectively. So, number 9 in both of them. They only moved up one spot in perfect game from 16 to 15. But when the Tigers meet the Rebels tomorrow night, they'll be meeting a team now in the top 10 of the rankings again, weather permitting.
By the way, there was also a report, I think it's the New York Post, that CBS offered Peyton Manning $10 to $12 million per year for like 5 or 6 years. But there wasn't. Now, the question in there is whether, like, he was the option if Romo, like, didn't accept and they lost Romo, like, Manning, or were they trying to get both of them? But, I mean, if they were trying to get both of them, they were willing to put out $29 million for 2 guys for their NFL coverage.
I wonder how these negotiations go. They're like, how about $17 million a year? Absolutely. All right. Where's the line that I sign on?
If you put anybody in there, let's just find a guy who's making $6 million a year as your lead analyst. Are you losing that many viewers, or is that extra $11 million a year worth it because you're able to make that back with the viewers and what you could charge everyone? I find it hard to believe that there's that many people tuning in just because of who the analyst is.
No, are there a few people that really may not watch football and go, Tony Romo, I like listening to him predict the plays that absolutely will come because this guy knows what he's... Okay, you may have a few of those people, but it's NFL football. People are watching because that's what they do. It's the number one sport. They bet. There's fantasy football. It doesn't matter if Mickey Mouse is up there analyzing the game.
Also, the mini storyline to this is the drastic differences between Jason Witten's broadcasting career and Tony Romo's broadcasting career.
Slight difference.
Well, what about ESPN? Because the rumor was, and I think we talked about it. I think Eli had to roll out of here a little bit early, that very last segment, one of the days last week maybe or a week before. And I think I mentioned that ESPN was, according to reports, was possibly going to offer Tony Romo 10 to even $15 million. I said, what are you kidding me? Well, now he gets 17 to stay at CBS. So what does ESPN do? Because it's pretty obvious that they're not convinced that Booger is the guy.
People don't like Booger?
Right. So if you're going to keep Joe Tessitore, and I think he's done a fine job, and look, I have no problems with Booger, but if you're going to try to get a name and a guy that resonates with people, Peyton Manning would be one. He has said no to it because he doesn't need the money, for goodness sakes. He has a lot of things going on in his life. Is there anybody else even out there? Who would you bring in, or would you just stick with Booger? Is there anybody?
I would stick with Booger, but that's me. I don't hate Booger like some people do.
A lot of people absolutely despise Booger.
See, I'm with Eli. I don't have a problem with him. But again, I don't really care too much about the broadcasters. I'm watching the damn game. I mean, are there better play-by-play guys than Joe Tessitore? Yes, but still he does a good job. Better analyst than Booger? Yes, but he still does a solid job.
Then again, people taking exception to Booger. There are people out there that don't like Joe Buck, people that don't like Chris Collinsworth. People
just to hate, right?
Yeah, they think that they're against their team for some weird reason. So, I mean, broadcasters are broadcasters in the end of the day. And I think all these guys are very good.
Romo made more than $17 million twice during his playing career.
Right.
The 2 years he signed contracts that got the big signing bonus.
And the 1 year he was injured.
Well, yeah, he got right at $17 million that year, right at $17 million. He made $25 million. Made $17,500,000 the 1 year, the first time he signed a big deal. And then he made $26 million the next time because he got a $25 million signing bonus with that final contract. That's the only times he made over $17 million. Yeah, the other year was right at $17 million. All
right, when we come
Not
back,
a bad retirement.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, this is just crazy.
That's a good way to invest in retirement, is get another $17 million a year job.
When we come back, the bads and the uglies. We'll take some calls and texts as well. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Watch out now. Man, what kind of way is that to start a promo? We want to tell the people about R&R on Sports every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. Watch out now.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Into the unknown.
Are you headed into the unknown with the digital marketing for your business?
Into the unknown.
Maybe you could create the best digital content for your ad campaigns, but it's unknown whether you will find the time. Or maybe measuring the results and analytics is unknown for you. Digital Mid-South can help you with the unknowns of digital marketing. Website development, graphic design, social media marketing, search engine optimization, online video marketing, e-commerce, and more. Check out digitalmidsouth.com to learn how you can help with your online digital advertising campaigns, or call Brian White at 901-375-9324. That's Brian White, 901-375-9324. digitalmidsouth.com. Digital content creation, delivery, and management.
Hey, sports fans, you already know about the great steaks at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse, a Memphis tradition since 1981. They specialize in hand-cut aged beef right over that hickory charcoal. But did you know the Butcher Shop also has great seafood items, from fresh Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, pan-seared red snapper with sautéed shrimp and Cajun cream sauce, Canadian cold water lobster tails, crab stuffed shrimp, homemade lump crab cakes, and a whole lot more. Oh, and don't forget the Fresh Burger Fridays for only $8.95. Come in, enjoy a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop. If you need a great private party, the Butcher Shop is your place. 6 different private rooms, seating from 12 to 250, all equipped with audio-visual. Rehearsals, business dinners, lunch, and weddings. You call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or you can visit the website at butchershop.com. Just drop in, 107 South Germantown Parkway.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area in any condition. And yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, iBuyHouses can get you your money quickly. iBuyHouses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. iBuyHouses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. iBuyHouses.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour of the program. Again, a big thanks to East Memphis Ace Hardware, third hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays. Ace is all about convenience and service. It's about that personal human touch, which you don't get at the big box stores, but you do at East Memphis Ace Hardware. Fast, courteous service, competitive prices. We're going to get back to the good, bad, and ugly here in just a second. AP poll for men's basketball out. Kansas remains number one. They got all 64 first-place votes. Gonzaga moves up a spot to 2. Dayton moves up a spot to 3. And Baylor drops to Eli to 4. San Diego State stays at 5. Kentucky moves up to number 6. Other schools of note, Auburn is at number 17. They drop 2 spots. Houston is up 4. They are at 21. Only other schools receiving votes from the American Conference. I don't see Cincinnati in here. Wichita State gets 2. Boy, that's not good. One team in the top 25. One team's got 2 votes. Nobody else is in there. Memphis was it could very well be a one-bid league. Yeah. Memphis was, top 15? Start off the season with the preseason AP poll. Very disappointing.
They were once number 9.
What do you got for bad?
Bad. Well, Tigers, the turnovers, again, 45 in their last 2 games, now 339th in the nation in turnover percentage. Just problem after problem for this team. Yes, they got to win. I'm not sure how excited you can get about an overtime victory over Tulane, but nonetheless, it was a win. But they continue to make it extremely difficult on themselves.
Still hard to believe. You got 20 wins already this season, and you're turning the ball over the way you are. But it does tell you that there is talent on this team, despite the injury to DJ Jeffries and the loss of James Wiseman.
Well, and it also, again, they're playing in what could be a one-bid league.
Right.
They didn't play a whole lot of real good teams in the non-conference. Yeah. It's hard not to win.
All adds up.
The SEC bubble teams talked about Florida and Arkansas taking losses over the weekend. Really tough one for Arkansas, who with Isaiah Joe back had really been looking good once again. But to lose to Georgia, even though it's on the road, that's a tough one. And they had fought all the way back from a big deficit, got within 1, and then let Georgia pull away from them and win by 10. The national, I don't even know what it is, but the National College Players Association. Were you a part of the National College Players Association when you played?
I didn't know that was a thing. So, no, I was not.
I still didn't know it was a thing until...
What do you pay dues? Even though you don't have any money?
I thought they couldn't unionize.
It's not a union. It's just the Players Association.
It sounds pretty.
It
sounds like a union to me.
I don't even know if anybody's involved with it, but
they meet and they meet once a month. They have pizza and Coca-Cola.
They came out over the weekend and said because of the coronavirus, among other things, there should be serious discussion about holding competitions, including the NCAA tournament, without any crowds to protect the players from the coronavirus.
Oh, come on.
I think two people in the U.S. have died now.
2.
Yeah. In Washington, in the same spot.
Could you
probably
imagine
gave it to each other.
NCAA tournament games without any fans? Like how weird it would be to watch if it was just no fans in attendance?
No, there was the situation years ago. I want to say Siena was involved, but there was some kind of outbreak of measles or something like that. So they had the game, and there were no fans for that.
The measles is much more deadly than the coronavirus, as well as like the flu. What if there was like a town with a bunch of flu patients, you wouldn't want to.
Well, look, I'm with you. But playing devil's
overreaction to the coronavirus.
It's so much an overreaction. With that said, we still don't really know all the stuff about the coronavirus. I don't think. But then again, who am I that it's going to be some amazing epidemic that's going to kill millions of people? I don't think so. We get scared about these things all the time. The bird flu.
Because it's new.
Because it's new. But I think everything's an overreaction. They're talking about the possibility of the Olympics. All right? This thing started in China. I know Japan's in the Far East as well, but relax. Relax.
One of the things they said is they should cancel like certain things like meet and greet stuff. Like I don't have a problem if you wanted to get rid of some of that stuff.
Sure.
You know, like C.J. McCollum said, he's not going to sign any autographs. Like he's taking a break from signing autographs. I don't have a problem with that. Like you don't need to be coming in contact with a bunch of people that you don't have to.
How about?
But the idea of God to play games without a crowd is so far of an overreaction. It's ridiculous.
How about if one of the players? How about if one of the players has it?
I obviously anybody dying is bad, but we're talking about 2 deaths off of this virus. But
let's say
not something that we need to completely worry about. Obviously, wash
Not
your
right
hands.
now. Not right
wash
now.
your hands and stay clean.
Yeah.
But I think you'll be okay.
Okay, but how about if it got worse, right? You still have masks for the people when they come into the arena. And they're in the audience and they got masks on.
Do the masks do anything?
I don't know.
The masks are for if you have it. They don't prevent you from getting it.
Oh, okay.
It's if you have it is really the only thing the mask does.
Yeah, but again, who's to say that a player doesn't have or hasn't contracted it, and then they're out on the court with the other players? So it's an overreaction. Absolutely.
And then I got to give a bad to my DC Defenders. I don't know what has happened.
Since you claimed them as your team, and I jumped on board with you.
I claimed them before they played a first game, so do not bring that.
All right.
They outscored their first 2 opponents 58-19. Now they've been outscored by the last 2 64-9, and both of those teams were winless when they played them. Cardale Jones has 175 yards and 5 interceptions in his last 2 games. It's not like they had a bunch of injuries. I don't even understand what happened. They went from the best team in the league to the worst team in the league with nothing happening.
He was due for some losses in his professional career is what it was. Cardale, that is.
I think P.J. Walker has wrapped up the MVP. And question number one, why when I go to ESPN and try to find some scores, I could find the scores. There's no, why no box scores?
Go to XFL.com.
XFL.com? Okay. What are the standings now? And I'm curious. I know we're doing our picks, and I've been crazy good. I don't know why. I'm just lucky, I'm guessing. But what are the actual standings?
Houston's undefeated. And then
are they the only undefeated team?
Yes.
Here we go. Gabe's
got it. Battlehawks in first place of the East Division, followed by the DC Defenders, New York Guardians, and Tampa Bay.
What are their records?
Tampa Bay Vipers at the bottom. The Battlehawks are 3-1. DC and New York 2-2. And then 1-3.
Okay.
Tampa Bay Vipers. Roughnecks are the only undefeated. They're 4-0. Renegades 2-2 following them, and then the Dragons and the Wildcats, Seattle and Los Angeles 1-3.
So already Houston has a 2-game lead. Now, did we confirm
my Battlehawks are just
it's
absolutely
8 games? It's
unstoppable.
an 8-game regular season, not a 10-game regular season.
I believe it's 8, but I don't know.
Okay. Oh no, actually 10. It's 10, and then obviously they played two teams twice.
Right.
That makes a little more sense than just
we got that
sort of
debate
a
the other
round
day.
robin.
Hey, I thought it was 10. Okay, so we're next week, this weekend coming up will be the halfway point.
It's just it'd be different if like the DC lost a bunch of guys, but I don't understand how you go from as good as they were to as bad as they are.
I know.
I mean, they played the two teams that were winless and got killed by both of them. Like and Cardale Jones was really good through the first 2 games. He threw for like 275 and like 260 something. Only had one interception, and I was literally 175 total yards in 2 games and 5 interceptions.
It's obvious he started to read his press clippings. He took them to heart. He got cocky. The other teams improved. They brought in different players.
Can't sleep on Jordan Ta'amu this year.
No,
he's pretty good.
He's been really good.
Yes.
Really, really good. And you're right.
And he's running it.
The St. Louis team looks really good. I mean, obviously right now Houston looks the best, but Houston's one of those things of, can you keep it? They get like 4 or 5 turnovers every single game. It's like, can you continue to do this throughout the season? Because that's why they're winning. They get turnover after turnover every single game.
Gabe, what was the attendance? How did they follow up their 30,000 game?
I'm pretty sure they were right there at 30,000 again. They're talking about, which I wouldn't understand if they did this, opening the upper deck of the Edward Jones Dome for home games. But if you do that, it's just, I mean, I guess you could sell a couple more tickets, but it just seems like it'd be empty.
Yeah.
But good to the St. Louis fans for supporting the Battlehawks. Are you done with
Football
your bets?
town.
You done your bets?
Yes.
Okay, my bets, I start off where you started off. Tigers with 20 more damn turnovers, but they did win the game. Duke, 3 straight road losses to unranked teams. Problems for the Dukies? I don't know. Maryland, my Terps, got ripped at home by Michigan State, 78-66. That's their first home loss, but they lost by 12. Baylor gives up an 18-1 run late and falls to TCU. The college basketball weekend, you could look at it as good or bad, but it was just chaos again, upheaval, losses by the number 2, number 6, number 7, number 9, number 10, and many others in the top 25. From the XFL, Landry Jones had 3 picks in the first quarter, and they got injured later in the game as the Renegades of Dallas lost to the Houston whatevers. What are they? The Roughnecks. Roughnecks, there you go. And then finally, little MLS bad. And I say this because they just opened their season. So it's the opening weekend, first game for Atlanta. They're a really good team. They won the title, I think, 2 years ago. Maybe last year, I forget, but they recently won a title. And one of the biggest stars in the MLS is Josef Martinez. He tore his ACL in the season opener. He'll have surgery, lost for the year. So you hate to see that. One of the big stars go down opening weekend. Uglies?
My one ugly goes back to when you brought up Landry Jones. And not just the fact that he had the 4 turnovers, but then the knee injury he suffered in that game. And just watching him over on the bench in full tears, like he was just distraught on the sideline. Like he was wearing the big brace too, but I don't know. We'll see. And that the brace probably protected him from further damage, but I'm going to guess that something serious happened because he was just distraught on the sideline.
They didn't interview him, did they?
No.
Okay.
No. There was no.
All right, there's lines. There's lines we draw.
He was fully weeping. Like there was a coach over there trying to console him. He wouldn't have been able to talk. Like every time they kept showing him, he was still crying on the sidelines. Like it was when they helped him off, he tried to walk on it at one point, and you could tell that from that point on, like he was in full tears the rest of the time.
Is Dallas the team that has as the backup quarterback the model?
The
Instagram model guy?
Yes.
Is that him? Okay. I have no uglies. Second straight week, I have no uglies.
The backup quarterback almost came down and led him to a chance to either tie or win. And then they just had a horrendous break on a play at the goal line where a ball deflected all over the place, and Houston intercepted it again because that's what they do. They just get turnover after turnover. But the backup when Jones went out came in and led them right down the field and gave them a chance. So they had a 2nd and goal at the 2 when the interception happened.
So there's a story out there that Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, is nearing a deal to buy the old Fabulous Forum in Inglewood, and eventually build a new arena so they can leave being a tenant of the Lakers at the Staples. So the Forum still stands, but I assume, I mean, there's so many spots in California. They can't pick a different spot, but they're going to knock it down, right? They're going to implode the Forum and build this new arena. I'm trying to get confirmation that will happen. I wonder why they don't look at the Forum like they look at the Mid-South Coliseum here in Memphis, with so many great memories of what happened in that building. They can't knock the thing down. Is it maybe in the historical register of Los Angeles or you would think the fabulous Forum, so many great events at the Forum, so many big-time basketball games from the Lakers with the Showtime Lakers would not be knocked down. But, again, I believe...
Except for some cities are smart and realize old buildings don't mean anything. You can knock them down.
Now, I'm not 100% sure because here
it's
it says...
pretty logical.
Right. Here it says the acquisition would clear a major hurdle in the Clippers' efforts to construct a new home arena in the vicinity. So, will they knock it down and build it there? Because, again, there's a trillion other places that they can buy land and build an arena in the Los Angeles area. So I wonder, they say that they're pursuing to build a state-of-the-art 18,000-seat basketball arena and entertainment complex in Inglewood, which, again, is where the Forum is. It doesn't say whether or not it will continue to stand or they'll knock it down. But, again, could you imagine Memphis? We were a bigger city, and we want to build this state-of-the-art arena. FedEx Forum, we wanted to build it right there in the Liberty Bowl grounds, right? And then there's the Mid-South Coliseum. Just from an eyesore standpoint, when you just knock that thing down, man, even if you had room to build it and that thing still stood, wouldn't you just demolish the thing?
Yes. That's what you should do.
That's what you should do. But again, I don't know if
but Elvis played there.
But of the two, I know, but of the two, I think with the historical registry, maybe the Forum has a chance to be on it. I don't see that with the Coliseum, although some people have fought for that. I don't believe it's on there. And I don't believe there's anything that's preventing them from imploding it and moving on. They just have to have something ready to take its place to build something else, and I don't think that's the case. But anyway, I thought that was really interesting that Ballmer is nearing a deal right there in Inglewood to buy the fabulous Forum and the great history.
Fleet Feet, the place to go to get all your running gear, shoes that are just right for you. Very important when you're out there running or walking, maybe just everyday use, especially if you're on your feet a lot. And what the folks at Fleet Feet will do for you is they'll take a look at you, the way you run or walk using their technology, see where you put pressure on different spots of your foot, and everybody's a little bit different. And then when they figure it out, then they will fit you in shoes that are just right for you based on the way you run or walk. And they can do that at either one of their two locations. East Memphis, they're in the Laurelwood Shopping Center next to Panera Bread Company. Out in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy, next door to the Hueys. You can also find them online at fleetfeetmemphis.com. They got a Facebook page where they keep you up to date with things they've got going on, and they'll be getting a monthly pub run series going as spring gets here, group runs, all kinds of other stuff that you can always be involved with the folks at Fleet Feet. So give them go check them out at either one of the two locations, or again, online at fleetfeetmemphis.com.
All right, when we come back, final segment, prediction time, and we'll wrap it up with one final thing. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Fiveash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
The season's best. Sponsored by Geico, proud partner of March Madness.
Up down low, Holyfield. Shot rejected by Abaji out of nowhere. Kansas ball. Dodson up the floor. Guarded by Ramsey. Ball screen right. Rolls with it. Alley-oop. McCarty
One of 6 teams ranked number 1 this year, the Jayhawks are on track for their 31st straight big dance. Hear Westwood One's exclusive NCAA tournament coverage right here.
Geico presents, oh boy, another voicemail from your roommate.
Hey, I got some bad news. Someone broke into our apartment and they took your TV and your computer. But what's most upsetting is they took my water bottle. Oh, wait, there it is. I was really worried for a second. Oh, they took your stereo, too.
The Geico Insurance Agency could help keep your personal property protected, like if your roommate is only worried about her $2 aluminum water bottle. Visit geico.com to see how easy it is to switch and save on renter's insurance.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Pop Wigington has been in the restaurant business since the 70s and has now brought 3 generations of family favorites together under one roof at Pop's Comfort Kitchen, 2990 Kirby Whitten Parkway next to Kroger. Pop's takes you back to a simpler time when food and life was more wholesome. Settle down today for lunch or dinner at Pop's with daily specials like country fried steak, fried catfish, chicken and dumplings, or Pop's famous fried chicken livers, all served up with your choice of 23 fresh vegetables like field peas and snaps, seasoned green beans, sweet corn and turnip greens. Hungry for a sandwich? Check out the Chuck, a hand-patted cheeseburger between 2 grilled cheese buns topped with lettuce, tomato, diced onion, pickles, fried egg, and bacon. Or a half-pound flat iron steak sandwich served on Texas toast. Don't forget one of Grandma's homemade desserts like chess pie or banana pudding. Take comfort today at Pop's Comfort Kitchen, 2990 Kirby Whitten Parkway next to Kroger. Pop's Comfort Kitchen.
It's a march to remember at James Gaddis Jewelers. They will buy your gold and silver. You can bring in your outdated jewelry for a whole new look. They have showcase gifts under $250 and Ronaldo bracelets from $50 to $350. They also have a beautiful estate collection picked by James. Pearls, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and of course diamonds. Plus watches of all types, including new and pre-owned Rolexes. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue, online at gaddisjewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Couple quick texts here. So it says, the Lakers aren't dumb. Lose to the Grizzlies, beat New Orleans. They would rather see Memphis than the Pelicans in the postseason. Could be something to that. I don't think they lost to the Grizzlies on purpose, but...
No, but I would think...
I think if you asked them, they would probably rather see the Grizzlies.
I agree. I agree. Again, I don't think it was purposely done, but I agree with the texter. They probably prefer seeing the Grizzlies than the Pelicans with a healthy Zion.
Another person asked, we had somebody earlier ask about DJ Jeffries, if there's any news. No updates, nothing at this point on DJ Jeffries and a possible return. Somebody says, I took my wife to KC and the Sunshine Band concert when we were, before we were married as one of our first dates. We went again Saturday, 43 years later. Wow, what a difference. The fact that they could still perform 43 years later is impressive enough to me.
Where was that at? I'd like to know.
They were out at, I think, KC. Were they the Graceland deal? I remember seeing the billboard. They were that or one of the casinos. I remember seeing a billboard for KC and the Sunshine Band. They might have been at one of the casinos. I remember seeing billboards for it.
I've seen them. I've seen KC. I saw KC when I came to Memphis, probably the first year or so. There was that little club that was. It's down toward downtown. It's no longer in existence, but they played there, and and they were good, really good.
Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Let me correct myself. I think they actually played at what is now the Bluff on Highland. I forget what it used to be called before that. I think that's where I saw Casey and the Sunshine Band. All right, the Knicks, it's official. They have a new president. Their team president is former player agent Leon Rose. Terms of Rose's deal were not disclosed. The Knicks announced that Rose, formerly the co-head of CAA's basketball division, will oversee all basketball operations and personnel for the team. Here's what he had to say, Leon Rose, to the fans of the New York Knicks. Sent out a little message via social media. Dear Knicks fans, I want to take this moment to introduce myself and tell you how proud I am to oversee this historic franchise as president of the New York Knicks. This is a pivotal time in Knicks history, so I want to let you know what you can expect from me and our organization moving forward. Having been fortunate enough to be a part of professional basketball for more than 25 years, I've had the privilege of helping to shape the careers of many incredible athletes throughout those decades, collaborating with key decision makers and personnel within the basketball universe. On and on he goes. But he also talked about having patience. Having patience before they get this thing turned around. How patient can Knicks fans be, for goodness sakes? They have had the patience of, I guess, better patience than anybody. Think about the last time they were relevant. So all he's asking for is a little more patience from the Knicks fans.
Today is the anniversary of the Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game. Also today, in 1992, I find this amazing. Ryan Sandberg, 1992, on this date, March 2nd, signed a 4-year contract extension that made him the highest paid player in baseball, making $7.1 million per year. Last year, 27 years later, 178 players made more than that.
And don't give me that inflation crap. I don't want to hear it.
27 years in between, from one guy being the highest paid player to 178 players making more than that.
Wow.
So basically, on average, 6 guys on every team making more than that.
Real quick predictions. 4 games this week for the Grizzlies. At Atlanta tonight, at Brooklyn Wednesday, at Dallas Friday, home against the Hawks on Saturday. The Tigers play home to Wichita State Thursday, and at Houston Sunday morning. Prediction for both teams. Gabe?
I'll go 2-2 for the Grizzlies, and you said who?
Tigers play Wichita State and Houston.
Oh, God, I'm going 0-2.
Ooh.
2-2 for the Grizz, 0-2 for the Tigers. Eli?
2-2, 1-1.
2-2, 1-1. I would lean toward that. 2-2 and 1-1 as well. Tomorrow on the program, Don Wade will join us for The Dish. Steve Macy from the University of Memphis. We'll have Humdinger's Trivia, 2.5 questions, working on some other great guests for not only tomorrow, but for the rest of the week. Stay tuned. Sports 56 Happy Hour with the one and only Johnny Radio is coming up next. For Gabe Kuhn and Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody.
Best I can tell, the world's gone to hell.